This is the knockout artist, Chris Hero. And if you're looking for some true heel heat, you better listen to them boys.
Hello. It is me, your True Hill Phenom, SP3. We are live on the True Hill Heat, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter for our ROH Final Battle 2022 NXT Deadline Roundtable review. I am here with my esteemed colleague. You see him on NXT as well as Blunt Impact. You saw him last night on the watch along. He is Ness.
What up? What's going on, fellas? What's going on, everybody in the chat? Thanks for joining us this lovely Sunday morning to talk some wrestling. And then it's going to be a lot to talk about.
Yes, two final big shows to end off 2022. So we had to have a special guest with us. You've seen him on THH Sports. He showed up also on the watch along last night. You see him on Fightful Overbooked. He is Caden. What's going on, Caden? And you were live at Final Battle.
I was live. I had a great time. I'm excited to talk about some really good wrestling from last night.
Absolutely. Sound off in the live chat. We want to thank you all for joining us this Sunday morning. Good morning to all of you. Hope your weekend is going well. Remember to drop the thumbs up on the video. Share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family on all your favorite social media platforms. If you are new to the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified. And like I said, I want to hear your thoughts on ROH and NXT in the live chat. Of course, your super chat donations, if you're feeling a little bit generous, will always get highlighted on the screen with us. We got Santo, who says, what is up to the greatest podcast? We also got Bala B, who said, sup gang, us tag team wrestling fans eating good today. Yes, indeed. Some really good tag team wrestling on both shows. CM says, NXT almost made me want to watch weekly. ROH was good from what I heard. We also got CM saying, I remember Caden from having to suffer through the NWA show in June, July. Yes, you were. I think that was your first time on True Hill Heat, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was. That's a way to debut.
That's how we welcome people. We make them watch NWA. That's how you welcome people to the channel. Got Frantic World with us. We're going to start off things with ROH Final Battle because that was yesterday afternoon. A huge show. You had 4 matches on the pre-show, 8 matches on the main card. Overall, guys, one word to give your thoughts on ROH Final Battle before we get into things. Let's start with Ness.
It was solid. I'll say solid.
Solid for you. What about you, Caden? You were there live.
I'll say best.
Wow. Went as far as best. I can already see the steam coming out of Ness's ears. He's getting upset at just the thought of that being the best.
Y'all got our own opinion. It's not me you got to worry about. It's the guy that just commented. You got to worry about.
Don't worry about that guy.
Oh boy, I'm not even looking at the comments currently, so I already know who you're talking about. He's up early. Oh boy. He's up early and he says, one word, ridiculous. Get the crust out of your eyes before you comment in the live chat. Anywho, let's talk about the 0 hour pre-show. They love to stuff a lot of action on these 0 hour pre-shows, and they started off with one of your favorites from NJPW, Ness, Jeff Cobb of the United Empire. He went one-on-one with Mascarera Dorado. This was a nice little clash in styles right here. You had the high flyer going against Jeff Cobb being more of the strength person here, and I love when Jeff Cobb can toss a high flyer around. It's always very much fun, and this one was a lot of fun, ending with Jeff Cobb getting a pop-up into the Tour of the Islands for the win. I think this went about 7 minutes long, but definitely packed a lot of action in here, and we got the code of honor, a show of respect following the matchup. Caden, being there live, what was your thoughts on this opener to the 0 hour?
This was a fantastic opener. I'm a big fan of Jeff Cobb. I was there for his debut in AEW, February 12th, 2020, when he came out as like the mercenary for the Jericho or for Inner Circle at the time. And I've been a fan of him ever since. He had that, like I was telling Victor from the Wrestling Club, he had never seen Jeff Cobb before until Ring of Honor, until last night. So I was like, oh yeah, you need to go back and watch his match against Shingo at Wrestle Kingdom. I think it was Wrestle Kingdom 15. Last year in 2021, where him and Shingo had a just absolute banger. This guy, I'm surprised that he's like, someone said he's older than Roman, which is surprising because he looks very young. He is amazing. I love everything he does. He's like, he's my like in terms of what wrestling I like, he's the second version of my type of guy. Like, it's my second favorite wrestling style, the way he works. He's fantastic, and these two styles mesh very well when you have guys who are as good as these two. So I thought this was a great way to open.
Yeah, definitely a good way to open the show. I gave the match 3.25 stars. What about you, Ness? What did you think about the opener to the 0 hour?
Yeah, I gave it 3.25 stars. Again, a great matchup of styles clash. And then just, again, like you said, seeing Jeff Cobb toss the motherfucker around like it ain't nothing is always fun to see. So it was really enjoyable. And shout out to Mascador down. He got, I want to see more of him just anywhere. Because after being restricted so much and, being WWE, I like that he can let loose and finally have the quality of matches that he was having before going there.
Even what he did when he first got to WWE in the CWC, the Cruiserweight Classic, he was delivering. He had a great match with Zack Sabre Jr. as well as in the finals with TJP. So he's always kind of delivers in that fashion, and he delivered here. He's the type of guy I would like to see them, signing on to Ring of Honor, since he doesn't have like a home. Someone like him to kind of open up shows would kind of be a nice little change of place. As far as Jeff Cobb just keeps popping up in these different places, and I'm just amazed by that. Following up with what Caden say, I gave Victor a whole list of Jeff Cobb matches. Shingo match was definitely on there from Wrestle Kingdom last year. His matches against Tomohiro Ishii are amazing. His match against Jeff Cobb this year in the G1 and the match against Okada were great as well. Him and Ospreay in Madison Square Garden, I was there live for. That was amazing. So definitely Jeff Cobb, if this is your first time kind of viewing him, congratulations. Welcome to the club.
You just suggested Jeff Cobb versus Jeff Cobb.
Huh?
You just said his match against Jeff Cobb in the G1.
I said Jeff Cobb, Tomohiro Ishii. I said his matches with Tomohiro Ishii and Kazuchika Okada.
You said it in his matches. No, you said his matches with Jeff Cobb. You didn't say Okada.
You
didn't say Okada.
My bad. I meant his match with Okada in the G1. my apologies. But let's move on to the next matchup. You got 2.0 going up against Shinobi Shadow Squad, which is Cheeseburger and Eli Isom. I thought this was a lot of fun. You definitely saw how over and how improved Cheeseburger was. But of course, the Jericho Appreciation Society members, Daddy Magic and Cool Hand Ange, get the win with a double elevated DDT on Isom. What did you think about this second match here, Ness?
It was all right. I gave it like 2 3/4. Well, it wasn't what I was looking for on the show. It was all right to give those guys a spot.
What about you, Caden?
I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I did not watch this. I went and got a hamburger. I got chicken tenders. I pulled a Kate at Grand Slam. I went and got my chicken tenders and used the bathroom during this. I did go back at the end because I wanted to see what makes Daddy Magic Matt Menard's nipples hard. So I did go back for that, and good finish.
Yes. Indeed. Next match, we had a women's matchup as Willow Nightingale going one-on-one with Trish Adora. These are kind of two women that were used in like the latter half of the women's division in ROH before the hiatus last year. And Willow is just a joy to watch. She just brings a smile to everyone's face. And her pounce, it makes even Monty Brown blush. She hits the pounce, clearing Adora across the ring, and then finishes up with the Dr. Bomb to get the win here. What did you think about this one, Caden?
I thought this was a really fun match. I think like Willow is perpetually over right now. It's insane. Like the pop she got was I every time I'm shocked by it. And this was definitely the biggest pop on the 0 hour for sure out of anybody. And the energy she brings, like any match she has, the energy she's able to bring elevates it by about half a star to me. It just like, even if it's not the best match, it can just bring it up that one little step because of the energy she can bring and really make everything come alive and feel like you're having a good time. So I thought that this was a really fun match. I was checking Cage Match a little bit ago just to kind of see where this show was looking at. And this was rated below a 5 on Cage Match. And I'm shocked. I got this I put this at about 3.5, 3.75. I really liked this.
You gave it a 3. I think Willow is good, but I don't think the match got enough time to kind of hit a next level, I think. But what about you, Ness? What did you think?
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of both these ladies, especially Willow. Just like you mentioned, the latter part of the rebranding of the ROH or the Women of Honor brand when Ring of Honor, was trying to bounce back. These two were great staples of that resurgence. And Willow was definitely at the top of my list. She was definitely one of my favorites. And Trish Adora as well. I give this match 3.25. I wish they would have got a little bit more time as well, but a Willow win is always a big, huge W in my book. I'm such a huge fan. So it was good for what it was.
Yeah, definitely. I think they got a good amount of time to actually do something that had a little bit of quality there. Like I said, I gave that 3 stars. The match before that with Daddy Magic and Cool Hand, it was like a 1.5. Then
I'll give it a 2 to be nice.
We got the closer for the 0 hour pre-show where it was tag team action as Top Flight went one-on-one with the Kingdom. The Kingdom not really being highlighted, being on the 0 hour here. And I was surprised by this outcome here as Top Flight pulled out the assisted nosedive moonsault, kind of like a doomsday nosedive to get the win on the Kingdom here. This one got about 12, 13 minutes. So they got a good amount of time and definitely had an exciting matchup. The match, like in the midway point, just moved at like a rapid pace. You had Taven with like the dives. You had Darius. Dante freaking botches the pogo stick dive, and he literally lands on his feet like a damn pogo stick. It was ridiculous. And I like the little show of respect afterwards, but I thought the Kingdom were heels, so I was confused by both the finish and the Kingdom showing respect afterwards.
Yeah, I was too. I was waiting for them to attack them, and it never happened. And I'm like, oh, all right, that's a missed opportunity.
Yeah, like I thought we were gonna get over them as like the new heel team in ROH. I gave the match 3.5 stars. I thought it was kind of like the highlight of the 0 hour pre-show. What did you think, Caden?
I gave this, I think, I use Cage Match whenever I do my rankings. I think I gave this probably a 7, which would be about 3.5 mathematically. So that's what I'm gonna give it. And this was fantastic. This was awesome. Really good 0 hour main event. It was perfect. I am very shocked by the finish of them putting over Top Flight. I'm not against it because I really like these two guys. And I do really like the Kingdom too. But I think that this was a really good showcase for both teams here and gives Top Flight a very good win over a credible team. That's something that they've really needed in AEW. They've never really gotten those wins. But the biggest takeaway I had from this was they gave the Kingdom "I Got Something For You" as their theme, which
they have been using that. They've been using the Kingdom remix. It's basically Bennett's song with Cole's ROH song.
Yeah, and that's what because I thought I had heard that because they wrestled on Dark Elevation on Wednesday during the tapings, and I thought I had heard that there. And then I really picked up on it. I was like, oh yeah, 100% they're using it now. And yeah, if you know Ring of Honor lore, you know that's what Cole used. So it just adds to my theory that I think Adam Cole's coming back and joining the Kingdom.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind that at all. What about you, Des? What did you think about Top Flight versus the Kingdom?
Yeah, I gave this match also a 3.5. It was great. It was a great match, even with the botch. I'm more so surprised at who won with Top Flight winning. Again, I'm not against that at all. I think they do deserve some type of momentum. You know, these guys are always in a tough break. One of them is always hurt. So now that we actually have them back and they're both healthy, yeah, let's actually try to like give them a push of some sorts. But yeah, it just threw me off that they didn't get attacked after the match, and they were like all embraced too. So I mean, who knows where, we already know how Tony books everything, and if he's even going to do anything with the Kingdom of some significance. Hopefully it does lead to Adam Cole joining these guys. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. I was just thrown off by it that, nothing really came about it. But I guess it's always good to just let guys go out there, perform, and not think about the extra stuff on top of it. So, but yeah, it was a great main event for the 0 hour.
Yes, strong win for Top Flight there, and that brought us to the main card. You had, well, let's see a couple of comments here before we get into the main card. We got Vala B who says you didn't get a cheeseburger. Come on, you got to get a cheeseburger while Cheeseburger's wrestling. That would have made sense.
I had a burger the night before, and I really did not want a burger again. Especially because like at Dynamite on Wednesday, I got an arena burger, and it was the absolute worst burger I've ever had in my life.
Well, yeah, that would stop you from getting any burgers at this place then. We got Bell with a good observation saying, hey guys, 2 very different shows last night, but 2 very good shows nevertheless. I would say, like, overall, I enjoyed both shows in different ways. They gave me different type of things that I want from wrestling, so I enjoyed both shows. We got Frantic World says that ending was really good. Yeah, I love the Doomsday, Doomsday nosedive. It's not a Doomsday slice bread number 2, Vala B. That's what the Motor City Machine Guns do. You got to be closer to the ropes. The nosedive is the double jump moonsault that Dante does, so it's a Doomsday nosedive. And then we got a super chat donation here from the good brother Chase. Thank you so much, Chase. We appreciate that. He says, double True Hill Heat review as I am at gym. Grace at the gym. Grayson Waller fan favorite at the bar. Yes, he should be. We're going to get into that when we get into NXT Deadline, but thank you for that super chat donation, Chase. But let's get into the main card for Final Battle. They open up with some more tag team action as it was LFI's ROH and the debuting Jurlistico, formerly known as Mystico, formerly known as Sin Cara, teaming to face AR Fox and Blake Christian, making their tag team debut in Ring of Honor. AR Fox with his official Tony Khan ROH debut here. And I thought that the match was going pretty well. They picked up the pace with Christian and AR Fox hitting a bunch of dives pretty late. And then AR Fox hits a 450 splash on Jurlistico where it looked like he kicked out. It looked like he got his shoulder up. The referee tells the bell to ring, yet he's making the gesture like he kicked out. But apparently AR Fox got that pin, and AR Fox and Blake Christian get the victory here. After the match, ROH and Jurlistico, they go wild. They beat down Christian and Fox at ringside. We get unprotected chair shots. ROH with his signature power cord. This was an absolute fucking mess. This was not the best way to kick off the show, and I was just dreading the rest of the show after this finish and the post-match where everything just looked like a damn mess, sloppy. Caden, you were there live. What was your reaction?
So correct me if I'm wrong. That referee was Stephon Smith, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I heard somebody say that he's done this before where he's accidentally finished a match early. I don't know how true that is because I did not have time to double check that, but I heard a lot of people saying that. So if that's true, that adds to that me thinking that this was definitely not the planned finish. This was weird. This was the weirdest thing in terms of a finish to a match, being in person, This was the weirdest finish I have ever witnessed in person. The vibe in the like that vibe can come alive and you really feel it take over your body. The vibe was, what the fuck is happening right now? What is going on? What was like, no one thought that was the real finish. Everybody thought it was going to like maybe be restarted. And then they just start chucking chairs at everybody. I was so confused. Like
I
that.
would be too.
The way they started chucking the chairs, that was not planned. I'm very confident that that whole thing with the chairs was not planned, and Roosh improvised. I think that was Roosh. I mean, knowing what I know about Roosh and how he is as a wrestler and as a person, I think that was him trying to get heat back in that finish. So he just started chucking chairs at people, because at one point they went to throw another chair and then randomly just drop it. They all just randomly dropped their chairs at one point, and that was where I was like, okay, if that was planned, they would probably have done one big shot, but instead when they were going for what would be their big shot, they stopped doing it. So I'm like, I don't know what happened. I don't think anybody asked Tony in the scrum, which I'm very confused about. Like nobody asked.
Yeah, I think probably by that time
the scrum was a mess.
Yeah, this was one of the worst scrums that AEW or ROH has ever done. Like that.
Yeah, the scrum was a mess.
You didn't have any other heavy hitters. You didn't have any other people that would ask those like hard hitting.
I would have asked.
Or just a simple question like, what happened with that finish? Like, I mean, I think by that time, though, a lot of those people just had their mind on FTR and the Briscoes or whoever was in front of them at the time. So I can understand that part. But yeah, I mean, I'm surprised that
I would have, if I was in there, I would have asked this question.
Like, I'm surprised that wasn't asked.
Yeah, this was the big thing I wanted to know. And they definitely gave a weird vibe to start, especially because like I love all four of these guys in the match, so it really kind of sucked. But why am I looking at?
I don't know why that went up there.
Jay Briscoe.
My computer is going nuts right now, apparently. But go ahead.
This was a really weird way to start. It was weird.
Yes. Ness, what was your thoughts on the opener?
I gave it a 3 because of the finish. It was well on its way to at least like 3.5, like 3.25, 3.5. But the finish was weird, and it looked like it was an accident. Cause shit, even AR Fox looked surprised, like, "Oh, wait a minute, I won!" Like,
yeah, he was like, "Am I supposed to win?
I won," you know. But I like how Caden mentioned, you know, this is prime Roosh, just whatever he does, you know, there's always going to be the power chords, the chairs, a bunch of anarchy. I'm glad that he did that to try to get some heat back, but it doesn't really help when you kind of lose on a like by accident type of thing. I guess I don't know. We don't know if that was supposed to be the finish. It doesn't feel like it was supposed to be the finish, but I give it to Roosh for trying to get that heat back. But you know, they took the L, so that's all that matters in the record books at the end of the day.
That's all anybody's gonna remember is that you lost. When they probably I had them winning this one because it's Jalisco's debut. So I don't know. It was very confusing on how everything played out there. The match itself, I gave it 3 stars, but definitely the finish hurt the overall match, that's for sure. I
did not like this match to be like, even up until the finish, just wasn't doing it for me, and which is weird because I said I do love all these guys, especially Blake Christian, who's in my top 5 favorite wrestlers, but I just didn't like this for some reason.
Yeah. This did a good job of highlighting AR Fox early on, but everybody's going to remember the finish mostly. Valo B says this was the worst finish. We had Bell who says, unfortunately, this is the only main show match I missed because I was cursing at my TV at another ref at the time. Wow, that's hilarious. And of course, we got Frantic World who says it's good to see Jalistico again, but this was a rough match. We all know his history. If you know who Mystico is, you know who Sin Cara is. This is not surprising that he was a part of this finish, even though he wasn't the reason why this finish was botched. He has been a part of a lot of these botched spots and finishes in his career.
I want to step in for 1 second. I'm currently in the process of subscribing to Honor Club now that it just launched. So I will be giving an update on how this is.
Oh, okay. Congratulations.
Well, I'm interested. This is the only news out of the damn press conference was about Honor Club. And far, this is actually a really good app. Like, the interface is amazing.
But why? But why did he think that was fun? We'll get into that. We'll definitely talk about that as well.
This is better than Peacock's interface. I'll say that. This interface is much better than Peacock's.
I mean, shit is better than Peacock's interface. But anyway, let's move on to the next matchup. They had the women's world championship matchup, Athena versus Mercedes Martinez. Damn, Athena was over as hell in her hometown. Mercedes Martinez definitely had to be the heel here, and I think they pretty much kind of listened to the crowd and adapted from there. Of course, going into the matchup, you had Athena with her heel turn, Mercedes Martinez kind of protecting all the trash bag wrestlers, but this one was very physical, had a lot of cool moments. The ending came down to Martinez going for her signature Brass City sleeper, but Athena was able to basically bite Martinez out of it. We then had the turnbuckle exposed by Athena when she ripped off the turnbuckle pad, and then she drop kicked Martinez into the exposed turnbuckle, followed up going up to the top rope, hitting the Eclipse to win and become the new ROH Women's World Champion. Love the pop for Athena when she won here. Like I said, this was hard hitting and exactly the type of physical matchup that you expect from these two women. I gave this match 3.25 stars. What did you think, Caden?
So I need to rewatch this because there was an issue at the end in the crowd. Did y'all hear towards the very, very end? Did y'all hear some booing from the crowd?
Yeah, think so.
So if you heard any booing from the crowd, so when Athena threw the turnbuckle, that went into the crowd. A fan caught it, and then immediately they came and took the turnbuckle away from the fan because they needed to go put it back in the ring. And fans were booing the hell out of that guy. And they were yelling, "Give it back, give it back." And then they never did. And the guy who took it went in the middle of the ring after the match and was like using the lawn blower to like blow off stuff in the ring, I guess. I don't know the technical stuff there, but and then he was like getting booed, so he did like a little bow to the crowd. But that's why I have to rewatch the ending because I was not paying attention. I was with my crowd trying to get this fan his turnbuckle back. But this was awesome. Athena, hometown girl they hailed her out of Dallas. I think she's actually from Fort Worth. I think is where she's like officially from, is like the Fort Worth, more towards Fort Worth, but it's the Metroplex, similar thing. And I'm like extremely happy for her. She's had a really rough few years with the injuries and then getting released and finding her way to AEW. That took a long time to get there. So getting this win in her hometown, finally finding that character on mainstream television that she was missing since she got called up back in 2018. 4 years, she could not find that character that lashed with audiences. And recently, because of a work shoot with Jody Threat, she found that character. This was not intentional, but she found it 2 months ago. And since then, she's been fantastic. That reaction when she took out Aubrey the night before Full Gear was amazing. That was one of the best ref bumps I've ever seen. It was perfectly done. And doing this here, I really liked the way that these two were able to adapt because going in, Athena was the heel, Mercedes was the face, but they knew Athena was going to get cheered in her hometown. That was a given. So they had to figure out a way to adapt and keep Athena a heel by she used the exposed turnbuckle, so you can keep her heel in that sense. But Mercedes really had to work as the heel here because she was the heel with this crowd. It's the same as Punk and Cena in Chicago in 2011.
It's Moxley and MJF.
Moxley and MJF. It's reversing the roles, and you have to work around that. And I think that's what proves if you're a great wrestler is if you can work around that. And both of these women worked on like a really good, really hard hitting, like they beat the hell out of each other match. And this was awesome. This was, as a fan from Texas, as somebody who has always loved Athena, who's been following her for as long as I've been watching wrestling, like this just made me extremely happy. And I have like I wonder if I can send this, like I might be able to send this picture to you that I took. I have a fantastic picture from when she won. Let me see if I can find this. This is amazing. I gotta send this.
What did you think, Ness? What did you think about the match?
I give the match 3.5 stars. I enjoyed it a lot. I'm happy for Athena. You know, it was nice to see that these ladies went out there and put on a great match for the most part. Excuse me. And then I don't know, I just kind of feel like whenever there's a big pay-per-view, there's always a Women of Honor, or whenever they actually have their titles defended, there's like a title change. I think this is like one of the more times that it's actually deserved, because just like Kaden said, she finally got a character. We already know that she can go in the ring. There was no question for that at all. But now that on top of having the work shoot happen, this could actually propel her into another state where maybe she wasn't on everybody's, like the top of their list, or everybody just talking about her. But now, we had the work shoot, we have the thing with Aubrey. Now we have the character. Now she's the Women of Honor champion. Now, like, she can actually be utilized to how she should have been over the course of however many years it's been since, when she was with WWE and everything that happened after the fact. So I'm just hoping that she actually gets that spotlight and gets, like, pushed to that extent. She couldn't beat Jade. Nobody can beat Jade at this point. But we'll take the consolation prize in the Ring of Honor Women's Championship.
Yes, we did get the Jade paid off, but I'm glad that she won a championship, because she's definitely deserving of the championship, and she kind of fits the same role that they had Mercedes Martinez in the the veteran with a lot of experience that can have great matches with when they start kind of grooming younger women in the ROH brand. I think now that they have Honor Club and the TV show, we might be seeing more like Athena being kind of the focus over there.
Yeah.
I'm trying to upload Caden's picture here. I will just say it's not as great as he made it out to be.
Oh, I love this. Is a great no. This is an amazing picture. This is awesome.
I'm trying to add it, but it's not letting me. Apparently, I don't know what's going on here. I tried.
It's my favorite picture I've ever taken of a wrestler.
That's nice. I'm busting your chops, obviously. We got a couple of comments that I want to highlight here. We got Frantic World, who says Athena got a big win, good for her. We also got Belle, who says good for Athena. CM still calling her Minerva in the chat, and confusing other people around her. We got Frantic World, who says Honor Club is up now. I might get it. So, Caden, what's the update? What's the update on Honor Club?
I have issues with this app immediately.
We're just gonna keep getting updates between our match reviews. We're just gonna keep asking you what's the latest update on Honor Club?
I'm kind of like just going through, kind of just seeing how this app is overall. I'm a very big fan. Like, I love streaming apps and just going through and seeing how they work. I'm a nerd about it. It's something I really like. There's no like fast forward 10-30 second button, which is really annoying, because in wrestling, that's a very big thing that I like to use. If like there's a 30-second like outside of the ring, like a slow 10 count, I don't want to sit through all 10 seconds of that. That's stupid. I want to skip. And there's no skip button for that. You just have to like slide. So that's a little annoying. But that's the biggest issue I have so far.
Can't please Caden, Honor Club. You already got complaints. It's only been 5 minutes, ladies and gentlemen, and he's already got complaints about this damn Honor Club. Let's move on. Let's move on to one of my favorite things on this show: tag team action. Swerve in Our Glory, Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland going up against Shane Taylor Promotions, Shane Taylor and JD Griffey. Let me just say, I used to say this all the time when we review ROH Ness, but Shane Taylor's theme is a banger. It's a bobski. I love it. Every single, you're the lion in the jungle. Boom. I'm the lion in the jungle. You gotta love Keith and Swerve. This time Swerve leaving Keith hanging like Keith did to him back at Full Gear. This match was kind of broken up into different stages. You had kind of like the opening stage where you had Griffey going at it with Strickland. Then Keith Lee came in. He had a little exchange with Griffey. This crowd, you guys, Kaden, in Texas, were dying, salivating for Keith Lee versus Shane Taylor. We thought we were about to get it, and then Swerve Strickland, aka the Black Randall from Monsters Inc., because now that ever since Max Caster said it, I was like, yes, that sinister kind of sneaky look, that's Swerve. He's so toxic. He tags in, gets a lot of boos. He played kind of the heel role, kind of preventing Keith Lee from going at it with Shane Taylor. They got at it. They had a great exchange. Keith Lee busting out a moonsault to break the triangle choke from JD Griffey. You had Keith Lee catching Shane Taylor in mid-air and about to hit the Big Bang Catastrophe, but Shane Taylor reverse hits his big left hand from God type of move that got the oh my God. I love that from Caprice. Every single time Caprice does that. It hits.
It's his best call.
Yes, we get all four men in the ring. They start going at it. Strikes going back and forth. They Swerve and Argoye try for their double team forearm and kick, but Shane Taylor moves out the way. Swerve is nailed right in the face. This is afterwards that Griffey tried a suicide dive and Keith Lee caught him like a baby and didn't powerbomb him. That's pissed off Swerve earlier in the matchup, and this was kind of the second mistake from Keith Lee. So Swerve, he was out of here. Randall was gone. He was like, I'm out. Peace out. But unlike Full Gear, Keith Lee pulls out the win anyway. JD Griffey misses Keith Lee with a roundhouse kick and nails Shane Taylor. And then Keith follows up with the Big Bang Catastrophe for the win. 1, 2, 3. Keith Lee on his own gets the win here, looking strong. This is probably one of the best performances for Keith Lee since he came to AEW. I enjoyed the hell out of this match. I gave it 3 3/4 stars. Kaden, that picture, it looks weird from this angle.
Yeah, I don't care. This is my favorite picture. I got like in her mid-scream, which is awesome. This was my match of the night. This was awesome. I loved this. The only reason I have it a little above the dog collar match is because we had seen, like, I knew the dog collar match was going to be great. I did not know how this was going to go. Obviously, if you know the history between Shane Taylor and Keith Lee, this was something that when Keith Lee got released, before he even went to AEW, my immediate thought was, I need to see him and Shane Taylor do something.
I've been calling for them. I had an interview with Shane Taylor at the end in December 2021.
I did too.
And I asked him about the Pretty Boy Colors and doing something together. And he told me about the history and I felt like he was working me because he talked about, he was like, I'm still a little salty. He walked out on the ROH world title shot. So yeah, so I love it. I love the fact that we got this here and they delivered. They delivered.
Yeah, This was fantastic. I don't think I've ever seen JD Griffey, and he impressed the hell out of me. They gave him a lot of spots there. Getting to see Shane Taylor, somebody who is definitely an underrated wrestler, getting those chants of "We want Shane" must have been like, that was probably really cool for him to get that. Yeah. Because he was never treated as the guy in Ring of Honor. He never really got that shine. So getting the only chance all night of "We want blank blank" of like, we want this wrestler, that was the only one all night. So that was a really cool, like, I think that was awesome for him. And this is one of those things where you have, like, if you are in the building for a match that is very story driven, it adds that extra layer to it and it elevates it from a really good match to a great, amazing match. And that's something for me that I think being in that building, feeling the tension between Swerve and Lee, feeling like you could cut that tension with a knife. Is that the right phrase there? Cut the tension with a knife? Yes. Okay, I want to make sure I got that right. For some reason, I felt like I was saying it wrong. But like when Shane and Lee first started going right at each other and they looked at each other, you could just feel like, oh shit, something's about to pop off. And then when they finally get in later, the place erupted. Everybody's off their feet. I'm standing, I'm clapping. Like, I was yelling at the top of my lungs. Like, this is something I'd wanted to see for a year and a half. I was so excited for this. And it just added this extra like layer of emotion. And when Lee, I thought Swerve was going to take out Lee, but when Lee takes out Swerve, just another layer to this fantastic story that they've been telling between the two. And then Lee able to get the win at the end was awesome too. Like, everything about this was just like perfect. There's not a single part of this match to me that was like not amazing.
They definitely overachieved with this one. What did you think, Ness?
Yeah, I gave this match 4 stars. Mainly for the part of the finish. Man, you can't trust Swerve. That motherfucker, he just out the left.
Swerve.
What's gonna happen? The story was started as soon as like they came out. He left him hanging with the fist bump. It's like, nah, I'm not gonna do it figuratively. I'm gonna do it literally as well. I'm just gonna leave you out here by yourself to your own devices. But just like you said, not in full gear. Keith Lee came through for the win. Oh man, the Pretty Boy Killers. I still want to see these guys back together. Like, even now, that they've got their own single. Well, not so much single stuff for Keith Lee. It's looking like it's about to be like that.
This was the most, like, as a singles competitor, like a spotlight that they've given him in AEW.
Right.
I felt like this was like a big spotlight for him.
The
whole story was about him. It's about his foreign relationship and partnership with Swerve, his relationship with Shane Taylor, his relationship with JD Griffey. This was all about Keith Lee, and I even said that on the preview. This was kind of a flip, because a lot of the Acclaim feud was all about Swerve. It's all about Swerve being the heel against the Acclaim, and Keith Lee kind of had to take the back seat, and they gave him the front seat in this match.
Did they show on the broad?
I couldn't hear you.
on the broadcast, did they show Keith embracing Shane Taylor and JD Griffey after the match?
No, they cut to the graphic for the next match, but you could tell that was happening.
Yeah. Afterwards, he like
calling them into the ring.
Yeah, he calls them in, and then he's like talking to both of them. Like, I think JD's on the right, Shane's on the left, and he's talking to both of them, and then he brings them in for a hug.
Nice.
No, that's send everybody home happy.
Absolutely. That's what you love to see. What did you give the match, Ness?
I give it a 4.
I'm giving it a 4.75.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. That's what I like. Maybe if I rewatch it, I'll feel differently, like watching it on TV rather than being there. But I really liked this match. I really liked
Jesus Christ. I've liked very matches, but sometimes I can't even respond. He said 4.75.
I really liked this. I really liked this a lot.
We got Frantic
maybe a 4.5. Maybe a 4.5.
Okay, that wouldn't have made me laugh as much as 4.5.
I'll give it a 4.5.
It's like, this is nearly perfect. Frantic World says we need them Pretty Boy Killers to get back together. SP3, yeah, 100%. Romeo pointing out Athena and Keith really shine back to back in their home states. Yeah, I like the fact that they put them on this card as well, because it gave them that spotlight where they felt like big stars because of that reaction from Texas. So that was great stuff. We got Romeo who says great booking. We also got here a couple of other people who's trying out Honor Club. Armand says, I'm gonna wait till we get more info in January to make my decision on getting Honor Club. What's the update, Caden?
I've got issues. There's no continue watching. So if you're in the middle of watching a show, you got to go back and find that show. And if it's a recent show, that's fine, because they have like a little thing that says ROH events, and it shows every show chronologically. Like the most recent is Death Before Dishonor from this year, and then Supercard, then Final Battle from 2021, and so on. So if you're looking, and they also do have stuff. They have an event archive per year, so I do like that. And they also have, it looks like they have Hall of Fame stuff, but I got to go in. I'll go into that while we're talking about the next match and see what that is. but there's no continue watching button, which is how Disney Plus launched, and that is a big key feature that I know is hard to code. I do know that is extremely hard to code, which is why Disney Plus didn't have it when they launched. But that's a key feature you need to have.
This is true. Another complaint from Caden. We'll get the next update after the next match. We had the ROH World 6-Man Tag Team Championships up for grabs. The Embassy's Brian Cage and Gates of Agony versus the champions Dalton Castle and the Boys. Brian Cage was an absolute beast in this match, especially whenever he was in there with the Tate Twins, the Boys, just tossing him around like rag dolls. You had Dalton with his nice little flurry of offense, tossing around the Boys. I love what you get a boy. Great call by Ian Riccaboni on commentary. But the strength and the size of the Embassy just overwhelmed the champions. They have a triple team with Cage, Leona, and Khan, where the Gates of Agony launch Brett Tate into the air for Brian Cage to get him into a sit-down powerbomb for the win. New ROH 6-man tag team champions. I gave this 2 3/4 stars. The result was never in doubt for me, but it was entertaining, especially Brian Cage. I thought he was the highlight of this match. What did y'all think? Ness?
I give this match 2.5 stars. Just like you said, it was, well, for me, it kind of was just there. But I will say I absolutely love the Embassy. The idea of these guys with Prince Nana over Tully Blanchard. I don't think Tully Blanchard, I wasn't that big on Tully Blanchard Enterprises or whatever with these guys because it kind of felt like a forced thing together. But with them,
Weird.
Prince Nana, I like, it really does feel like the Embassy of old. So I can work with it with that.
Yeah, this kind of fits the mold where he always has his crown jewel. Right now, it would be Brian Cage. He's always got like a couple of mercenaries, and that's a Gates of Agony. So the group kind of fits very well with what the Embassy has always been. What did you think, Caden?
The beginning of this match was my piss break. So yeah, this was I had planned it. I will say I did plan for that. Like I was gonna use the AR Fox tag match, but that went on first. So I was like, all right, then I guess I'll use the 6-man, and I can go get up and go use the restroom, get a little walking around. And so yeah, that means I hate trios wrestling. Obviously, that's what that means.
You hate trios wrestling. You didn't give it a chance. You totally blew it off. You're a jerk. You are a jerk. I just want to let you know you are a jerk.
I apologize to everybody. I did stay. I made sure I stayed for the Dalton Castle entrance because that is one of my favorite entrances in professional wrestling. And I yelled, like, whenever he yells boys, I yelled boys, like, very loudly. I love it. It's so fun. But this was like a really like fun, like solid tag or trios match here. Nothing like special. I think this is the one that kind of just flowed under the radar throughout the show, was just kind of there to give us a cooler in between some good, exciting matches. So this was like fine. There's nothing amazing, nothing necessarily bad. Brian Cage is having the best in-ring performance of his career to me. I really like this. Like everything he's doing right now is just like clicking 100% for me. I think being around those other two guys, the way that he changed his look up a little bit with the hair. I think everything's just kind of clicking right now. So I'm really excited to see what they do with the Embassy here. And this was a moment I've been waiting since April. Like, okay, when are the Embassy finally going to get a championship? Because they kept losing. So finally they have one, and I want to see more because I really like this trio together.
Yeah, they just have like that kind of like beast mode. They're kind of like authors of pain kind of all together with how they just are just total destruction, kind of like authors of pain meets the Viking Raiders in a team within itself. But yeah, like I agree with you with Cage. He's like, I am never taking all these months off again. He is very motivated right now and putting on some spectacular performances and reminding everybody just how good he's always been. I know he was someone that you liked when you watched Lucha Underground and Impact, right, Ness?
Yeah, because he was one of the top guys there, you know, and everything that's been going on with coming into like AEW, like there's so many big names So he kind of just flew under the radar. So just like now that we're going to have this another resurgence of Ring of Honor, hopefully they actually utilize him and utilize his team. But we'll see where it goes, without a TV deal, but they're, launching the Honor Club app. So hopefully they actually find somewhere to use these guys and not just random occurrences on Dynamite. So we'll just see where it goes.
I'm very interested to see what happens with him because he had that 1-year option picked up. So I believe that his contract would expire in the next few months. I'm assuming that if he only had 1 year of an option, he didn't have another option year after this one, which would kind of make sense with AEW that it was a 2-year deal with an option year for a third. That lines up with how AEW usually does their contracts. So I would assume that it's probably up around maybe April, May, or June because he signed in May of 2020. So probably around April or May, he'll be up. So I'm interested to see if he's working really hard because he wants to get in a contract extension with AEW, or he's working really hard because he wants to elevate his value up and then book it over to Papa Hunter.
Yep. You're going to go over to Papa Hunter. Hunter's going to be like, I'm going to push you to the moon on NXT. Yes. You're going to get that push to the moon on NXT. We need a challenger for the month against good boy Braun. So we could take you and you'll do just well. You do swell, buddy. Can't wait, Brian Cage. That's what's in your future. If you think that Papa H gonna sign you, I don't think so, brother. I don't know if it's gonna work out too well for you. But let's move on to the ROH Pure Championship matchup. And I feel like this next hour or so of the show was the peak of the show between the Pure Championship matchup and the match that followed it. But we had Wheeler Yuta going one-on-one with Daniel Garcia. Loved the story of this matchup with Garcia kind of going against his kind of strategy or the strategy of Yuta from the previous 2 bouts that they had at Death Before Dishonor and in Buffalo. I think Yuta used between those 2 matches 1 rope break. He used all 3 in about 7 minutes. Garcia just kept doing submissions where he had him tied in the ropes, and basically the referee would count to 5, and that's considered a rope break. That was just brilliant stuff. It just showed how smart Daniel Garcia was. And then we got where he just picked up with more high impact moves. You get the German suplex, angle slam. They start exchanging slaps and chops. It just got very physical towards the end of this one here. They start Yuta hits a variation of a power driver, but instead of pinning Garcia, he begins raining down elbows. He turns over and gets him into a crucifix and lays down even more elbows until the referee calls for the bell. Referee stoppage win. Wheeler Yuta is the first ever 2-time Ring of Honor Pure Champion. Love this. This is kind of the type of professional wrestling that I enjoy. Has a great story, a story you can instantly get into, and 2 young guys going out there and putting in the work. 15-minute matchup that just never let up, and everything mattered in this matchup. I gave it 4 stars. What did you think, Ness?
I gave this 4 1/4. I really enjoyed this. Is one of my favorite matches on the card, specifically for the fact that these guys aren't as known as the rest of everybody else that was on the card. They went out there, they planted their flag, they left it all in the ring. Funny story though, as we're on the watch along last night, I mentioned the fact that Wheeler Yuta used all his rope breaks. So I'm like, oh, Wheeler Yuta used all his rope breaks. Daniel Garcia isn't going to lose this match. Literally, as I say that, he gets put in the crucifix, elbows raining down on his head, and the ref calls for. I'm glad I didn't place any money on this match. I would have been out of big money. But yeah, it was great to see. Pertaining to before we actually seen the finish to the main event, I was going into this thinking that if one of the 2 were going to get the title or get a title, between Wheeler Yuta and Claudio, I was backing more on Yuta. I just felt like
Reason I went for Wheeler in this one is I was like, I needed 2 results here. I needed Wheeler to win and Claudio to win so we can move the fuck on from this feud that started in April. Like, we needed both of them to win. Garcia, I would have loved for his reign to continue on because I don't really think they did much with him outside a couple of defenses on AEW Dark and Dark Elevation. And they totally took the story off of him like a month ago and for no reason at all. Then the story was on Yuta for a couple of weeks and they took the story off of him. I would have liked if they kept those 2 stories going into this matchup, and I think I would have rated this match even higher.
Yeah, so that's what I was saying. Like, going into it, it just felt like if you're gonna give Yuta another shot, like, there has to be a payoff of this, because there's other guys that can get a shot at the Pura title, create a new story for Daniel Garcia if that's the way you were going to go with it. But them coming all the way back to Yuta, I just felt like he was going to get the win again, and he didn't disappoint. I'm not a really Yuta hater. I'm one of the few on our channel that isn't one of them.
We got someone in the chat that really hates him for no reason.
And the guy can't stand him. But yeah, these guys put on a phenomenal performance. I really enjoyed the match, and it keeps Daniel Garcia strong. He never tapped. Referee stoppage. You can always say, "Oh, I never tapped. The ref did it." Blah blah blah. If that's the way they want to go with it, so kudos to both these guys.
Kaden, what did you think about Yuta versus Garcia 3?
So, quick update from Honor Club. I got one update here, and I got one update in the next match. They have ads built in because they did not go and cut the ads out of the footage. There are Car Shield ads with Ice Cube. Maybe it was Ice-T. I don't know. One of the 2 guys, one of the Ices, is in a Car Shield commercial that they just left into the footage.
That is way too funnier than it's supposed to be. That is hilarious.
They would have that shit.
But this match, I don't know if I'm gonna get buried for my rating. I got this at a 4.75. And
this is more realistic. And like, if you are really into these 2 guys, I can see you going back. I'm not gonna laugh at that one. I laughed at the other one because literally there was a story there, but there was no storyline investment in building to that matchup. So I laugh at the fact that you would get it that close to 5. This one had some storyline investment, and I can understand, and especially if you're there live, I can understand getting a 4.7.
So for me, I don't like. I'm able to separate, like, I can obviously storyline can help build a match for me, but when I get to a match, I'm able to sit down and just enjoy the wrestling without needing a story. It's just like I'm able to kind of do that and just judge it based off of the in-ring, which is why I have like this, and I'm able to judge it off of like what happens contained within the match. Sometimes it's a little harder depending on, like, if WWE is a little harder because they judge fully on story, but Ring of Honor, not really. It's never really been about building up stories. It's been a lot of just like have good fucking wrestling. But like this did help with a story. I have my conspiracy theory on why they stopped the Garcia push was I think it wasn't bringing in the ratings. I think he was clicking with the crowd, but I don't think that he was getting good ratings. They kind of just said, we're gonna stop this and kind of.
But Yuta was one of the more higher rated Rampage of this year with the Moxley match, and his matches with Jericho and MJF in recent memory did well in the ratings. So I understand
reverting back to this.
I can understand dropping the Garcia if their ratings were an issue, but I don't understand. Then you went into the Willie Yuta part of that story after you dropped Garcia, and then you dropped that too.
I think they're going to continue something with this. I think maybe they just didn't want to do. I think they were going to do a BCC breakup and then decided not to do it. And they decided like, oh, we'll keep BCC together and we'll kind of revert that story with Yuta and Brian and maybe come back to it in a few months if you want to. But in terms of like in this match, this was the rubber match, right? They were 1-1. They had the first match of Death Before Dishonor. The second match was, I believe, September 7th in Buffalo. 5th, 6th, should be the 7th if my dates are correct, in Buffalo when Garcia won, when he had what's his name?
West Side Gun.
West Side Gun wrap match of the ring, and he got that big win over Yuta. So that they were 1-1 in these pure title rules matches. So this was the rubber and this was brutal. For a pure title rules match, this was absolutely brutal. And in the first minute, both of them had closed fist warnings, which was just awesome.
That was great.
Like, I knew
that was a great story.
I had a feeling that was coming. And I think they said that Wheeler exhausted his rope breaks by using the ropes to keep him inside the ring when he was like going to the outside. I think that's what I saw people saying, is that's what they counted as a rope break, was him doing that.
Yeah, and then with the Mexican surfboard in the ropes, it was just because Garcia pushed him to the ropes and then had to break at 4. That's considered a rope break.
Yeah,
that was my favorite one.
This is a match I need to rewatch, because when you're in the crowd, you can't like this. It's a little harder to watch pure title rules matches because it relies a lot on the commentary explaining like this is the rope break and all of that. And well, like, I love pure title rules matches and I'm able to follow it very easily. Like, I know some people have issues. I don't. I'm fine with the rules in there. But it's just with the rope breaks, especially, you have to be like, I think it's important to be watching on TV. But this was awesome. Like, they beat the hell out of each other. The finish was probably, I think, my favorite finish of the night. Just finally having it. AEW hasn't done a knockout finish, like an official knockout finish, right? Like, Hangman and Moxley's different, but I don't think they've ever done like an official, like, this guy got knocked out by punches. And
well, I think Dragon's won a match with the elbows.
But has he done it with? But no, he does it
just
with the elbows.
Just the elbows.
He does it with the elbows. But I thought he did locked in the submission.
I'm telling you, because when in that stretch in 2021, he was finishing everybody with different finishes, and one of the finish was the hammer and anvil elbows.
Okay, so Tony, because I remember him
he
was hitting the hammer and anvil, but then he would like lock in the triangle and then do like the flexing. I remember him doing that.
He did the hammer and anvil.
He did do it. Okay, yeah. So then this is the second or third time that somebody's used it, and it's awesome. I love a good knockout finish. So this was great. Yuta deserved the win. I had called this. I said that BCC would have a clean sweep, and once Yuta won here, I was like, all right, I'm fairly confident Claudio's winning.
Yep. I needed both of them to win. That's all I was asking for. Before this match, we did get some more JAS, Jericho Appreciation Society, as they Daddy Magic and Cool Hand interrupted Top Flight interview. This led into a brawl that went out into the stage. Dante Martin with a huge dive off the stage. Daddy Magic and Cool Hand then cut a promo talking about how Claudio was going to become a tag team with Jake Hager called the Hat Trick. That was great. Great. And he said that gets Daddy Magic's nipples hard.
Yeah, I was waiting all night for Daddy. Like, I was yelling when he got in the ring. I was like, what makes Daddy Magic's nipples hard? And then he said it. And I was like, yes.
The huge pop. Yeah. The biggest pop of the night for Caden.
That was my pop of the night. Daddy Magic's nipples.
He's like, Daddy Magic's nipples are hard. Yeah.
I was chanting nipples, nipples, nipples.
I would never admit that on air. Anyway.
I got a lot of stairs.
Next was the match most of us were looking forward to going into this show. Yes, FTR versus Briscoes 3. Double dog collar for the ROH World Tag Team Championships. You had Jay Briscoe tied to Dax Hardwood. You got Mark Briscoe chained to Cash Wheeler. We get a huge brawl coming right at the beginning. We get Dax and Jay going into the crowd. They're going crazy. Already Dax is bleeding. All 4 guys were bleeding within like 5 to 6 minutes of this damn matchup. Hardwood hit Mark Briscoe with a heart attack off the top rope with the chain wrapped around his arm. We get weaponry everywhere. We get tables set up. Chairs are piled onto the floor at one point. This one is just it's too crazy to kind of recap everything that went down on this match. You had at one point Cash Wheeler, he launched Mark Briscoe onto a pile of chairs onto the floor off the top rope. You had
brutal.
That was the sickest bump of this match from me. I was like, God damn, that hurt me. Jay Briscoe had the crimson, a beautiful beautiful crimson mask in this matchup. All the side of his head, where he has his head shaved, was covered in blood. It came down once again, like the 2 out of 3 falls match, to Jay and Dax in the ring. You get a pile of chairs in the ring after Dax hits a power driver on the steel chair and covers Jay, similar to what he did at Death Before Dishonor. That gets a 2 count. Cash throws in steel chairs and tells Dax to fucking kill him, and then he puts him on the top rope. He's looking for the avalanche power driver off the top rope, like at Death Before Dishonor, but Jay fights his way out of it. He hits a big old superplex off the top rope onto the pile of chairs. At this point, Cash Wheeler is desperately, frantically trying to get into the ring as Mark Briscoe holds on to him by the chair as Jay Briscoe locks on a crossface with the chain wrapped around Dax Harwood's face. Oh my God, until the point he passes out. This match had a referee bleeding at one point after Mike Posey got nailed in the face with a chain. You had chairs, you had tables, you had blood. This whole canvas looked like an art museum. It looked like a bloody art museum. This was art, and this match definitely lived up to the previous 2 encounters. After the match, the whole crowd gave all 4 men a round of applause. We get FTR getting the center ring after the Briscoes left them in the ring to get the applause, but the Guns, Colton and Austin, come in. They attack the FTR from behind. Austin Gunn tries to cut a promo, but the Briscoes return to chase them off, and we get a nice little moment with all 4 men raising their hands as they finally end what has been one of the greatest trilogies in wrestling history, in my opinion. I think it's the greatest one-year trilogy since Okada Omega in 2017. Yes, it's on that level. And yes, once again, for the 3rd time this year, I'm going the full fucking boat. 5 stars, 5 stars, 5 stars. It even in the Tokyo Dome, it'd probably be 8. Like, this was intense. This was exactly the type of war that the Briscoes talked about in their promo on social media. This lived up to, I think it's probably my favorite and the greatest dog collar match in the history of the business. I thought that I said that before with CM Punk and MJF at Revolution, and that was great. This was even better. 5 stars, anytime, any place. Caden, being there live, what did you think? FTR Briscoes 3.
Well, as you can tell, I had to grab a big ass fan to cool me up from this one, because oh boy, I was barking like a dog when I saw FTR in those damn dog collars. Woo-hoo-hoo! Let me turn this off because this shit's loud as hell. I needed to be hosed down after this one. This was amazing. This was one of the best matches I have ever seen in my life. And this comes after their first match being the 2nd best match I've ever seen in my life. So this is the 3rd best match I've ever seen in my life. Having, Dax in a dog collar. Oh boy, I was rowdy after that one.
Get some water, Caden. Get some water. You thirsty?
I choked on the water. I spit it up everywhere.
See, you're not attracting Dax very, very much because you have no gag reflex. Anyway, but continue on with your review of the match, sir.
This was a bloody fucking battle. This was oh my god.
See, talking again, Dax. Stay at home with your wifey. You don't need Caden.
No, Dax. I specifically told Dax to his face 2 weeks ago. I said, "You are for the gays," and he gave me a big old hug. He did give me a massive hug for that. He was really happy about hearing that because he was worried he wasn't for the gays.
And then you thought about that hug when you saw him in a dog collar.
Yes, I did. I sent pictures of Dax. I sent pictures of Dax and Cash in dog collars to Cher Delaware. She wanted to see pictures of them in the dog collar, so I took a lot of pictures and sent them to Cher. I've looked at those a million times. They are amazing. But going to the actual match and not being thirsty.
We're getting way too much information here.
Going to the match and not being thirsty. This was really good. This was amazing. Every time there's a dog collar match, I get a little worried because sometimes they can just not be the best, especially for being in the crowd. A lot of it relies on storytelling that is added by commentary and close-up shots. And that was my issue with MJF and CM Punk. I haven't rewatched that match because I was there in person and I was put to sleep. I'm sorry, didn't work for me. I was bored as hell for 30 minutes. I didn't like it. But a lot of that is because I was there. Everybody who watched it on TV said this is amazing. And the commentary and the close-ups all add to that. So I was really worried about that a little bit, but I knew this is the Briscoes in a dog collar match. You know that they're going to have a blast. That's what they do. They do these brutal matches. And that's why people are chanting, like, the Briscoes they're chanting like something like, fuck them up. Yeah, they're chanting fuck them up Briscoes because everyone knows it's the Briscoes in a hardcore match. They're going to kill you. And you added in FTR, who are my favorite tag team of all time. I believe they are the best professional wrestling tag team of all time. And they have consistently throughout this year had amazing match after amazing match after amazing match. They have the 5 best tag team matches of the year, in my opinion. So when you add, maybe even like the 6 or 7 best tag team matches of the year, plus Dax Harwood having these amazing singles, they're incredible. So when you add all these things in and letting these guys tell a brutal, bloody story within a ring in the 3rd of their trilogy of matches that they've only been able to tell this story within matches. They haven't had TV time because the Briscoes can't be on television. The Warner won't let them come on. So everything they do has to either be told through social media or it has to be told inside the ring. And that's what proves that these two are the two of the best tag teams of all time. They're able to tell a fantastic story just through working inside the ring. And they did that again last night. The spots, like you already talked about, that spot where he flipped Mark to the outside, I was like, oh shit. Like I gasped and stood up, like just completely shocked. And I was like worried that somebody died during that. I was like, oh my God, Mark is dead. And everything with the way that they use these dog collars here, everything worked well. I think that I have no issues. Like I said, this is a 5-star and I'll pull a Meltzer. I'll go with a 5.5 here. This was awesome.
He probably will. If you saw his tweet last night after the matchup, he said this was the best of the 3, and the previous 2 got 5 stars. So I don't agree with it being the best of the. I don't agree with it being. I don't agree either. I think the first one is the best of the 3. But this passed the second one. This passed the second one.
I need to go watch the second one again. But I think I have it. I think I have 1, 3, and then 2 as well.
Yeah, that's my order.
Because the first one is if I'm going by Meltzer ratings, I go with like a 6.5 because that's my second favorite match of all time. So this was awesome. This was truly just an awesome match. And then the finish of of Cash not being able to get to him because Mark was holding back with the chain just added another layer. And just everything worked here. Everything worked. This is awesome.
And they had such lofty expectations for this one, and somehow were able to exceed them or meet them in a lot of people's eyes. What did you think, Ness?
Come on, a guy gave it 5 stars. Like it was just based off of the ref. And I said this on the stream last night. The ref taking a bump and bleeding, that gave them half a star or just like half of the whatever. So if it's a match is 4.5 stars, that other half of the ref just taking a bump, that gave him to the 5. This match, brutal, really physical. One thing I did like about FTR's ring gear, they had the dates on it. From
that was a great touch.
I couldn't see the ring gear.
That was dope.
They had the date of last year's Final Battle and this year's Final Battle. That was the start of the feud, and now what's supposed to be the end.
Because they showed up at Final Battle. The lights went off, right?
Yeah. I really enjoyed that little aspect of it. But yeah, man,
and it was white. So Dax's tights at the end of the match were fucking red.
Yeah, they were pink. That was just reddish pink. It was. Everybody's bleeding. Like you get some blood. You have some blood. Even the ref, you can have some blood too. Everybody had a crimson mask that night. I don't even know what else to say, man. It might have been the match of the weekend. Honestly, it's the match of the year.
It's one of the matches. I have to redo my list. Thank you, FTR and fucking Briscoes. I had all my lists worked out pretty well for the end of the year and for all these different promotions. And now I got to throw them out and I got to redo the list now. And I got to put FTR and the Briscoes 3 in this list. I was like, I was trying not to put both matches I wasn't trying not to put both of the first 2 matches in my top 10, but now this third match was so good, I gotta throw another one in there. I gotta throw
I think like half of my top 10 list will have Dax Harwood in it.
That's
because I think it's gonna. I'm very likely gonna have all 3 of these, and I haven't watched the Aussie Open match, but based off
the
of what
Aussie Open match was amazing.
That'll probably be in there, and then the Speedball match is in there too.
I would say out of the, I'd say FTR has the best five tag team matches that I've seen this year, and how I would rank them. I would put FTR Briscoes 1, FTR Briscoes 3, FTR versus Aussie Open, FTR versus Briscoes 2, FTR versus Young Bucks, and then Young Bucks versus Lucha Bros from Rampage.
Yeah, and then I'd also throw like in my top 10 we'll have Speedball. Did you watch Speedball?
No, I haven't seen that one yet. I gotta watch that.
If you have not watched Speedball, I will put that over every podcast I'm on. The finish to that match is, I consider it to be my favorite finish I've ever seen in a wrestling match.
There you go. Well, let's move on to our next match. Well, before we do that, let's highlight a couple of comments here with a good question from Armand, who says, is Briscoes versus FTR feud of the year?
So it's weird because I probably would still put Punk and MJF, but
me too.
The only reason why I'm going to actually say yes is because that they had to contain their feud within matches. And when you can tell a contained feud that's like an amazing feud contained within 3 matches, I will put that over as being like just a great storytelling. It's because I prefer matches over anything else.
What about you? What about you, Ness?
I wouldn't. I would put Punk and MJF as well. But given like just Kane said, given the restrictions that these guys had, they don't really get to be on television like that. So they can't perpetuate the story outside of social media or like any other source like that on their own. So I mean, there's a line to say like there's potential there for that being it, but in my opinion, me personally, not.
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely make the argument. I think that when it comes down to it, the best 2 feuds this year was CM Punk versus MJF and the Briscoes versus FTR.
Yeah, for sure.
But let's move on to our semi-main event on this show. You had Samoa Joe defending the Ring of Honor World Television Championship against Juice Robinson. Keep those comments coming in the live chat, by the way. Of course, if you haven't already, drop the thumbs up on the video, share this video with your friends, subscribe if you are new to the True Hill Heat YouTube channel. As we talk about Joe versus Juice, this match I had no interest in going into the match, and what I saw was just fine. It was I'm the
only one. As long as I'm not the only one.
It was just solid. It was just solid. Juice worked hard. Juice tried to put in effort. He's put his body together very well because he did not look like this just a couple of years ago. And but Joe got the win after hitting the Muscle Buster. Just went about 12 minutes.
I have the time. Let me find it.
Was a match. It was one. It was solid. It was all right. Bigger note was Joe in the Pros Media scrum telling all the media people to call him Your Highness and Your Majesty throughout the whole media scrum. And he called out Cody and Miro when asked the former TNT champions he would like to face. Great stuff. Caden, what did you think of Joe versus Juice?
Should have done Joe versus Darby here, in my opinion. But this was it was fine. This was definitely a cool down match, which is why I know that's why they didn't do the Darby match. They needed a cool down match here. Yeah. And it makes sense. I have no issues with it. I know some people are complaining and they're like, oh, well, this didn't have a build. And I'm like, cool. They needed something here in between FTR Briscoes and Claudio and Jericho. They needed something that was just going to be kind of middle of the road, going to be a little slower because it can give people a break to catch their breath before we get to the main event. So this was fine. I have no issues. This went 13:37. They also showed Tony Deppen in the crowd, kind of teasing that they're probably going to do Deppen and Joe next, which They showed Deppen in the crowd during the TV title match and Trent Seven in the crowd during the pure title match. Oh, I didn't see the Trent Seven one. Okay.
Yeah. Which made
Deppen was
that made a whole
there.
bunch of sense. When it's all Seven had the towel that said AEW Trent Seven, I was like, well, he would be a guy that I would put in ROH. He's definitely a guy
He's
that
on a. I know Tony did confirm that Trent Seven's on a per appearance. So I mean, I sign him because WWE is going to want him back for NXT Europe. So I would sign him immediately. That's probably why he's not going. That's probably why he's not signing. This is exactly why he doesn't want to sign. But I mean, obviously Tony Deppen hates me, but I'm excited to have him versus Samoa Joe. It'll be a really good match. I'm a big fan of Deppen, so I'm excited for the future of what they do with Joe.
Yeah, I'm excited with what they do with Tony Deppen moving forward as well. But let's talk about the ROH Final Battle main event for the Ring of Honor World Championship. Here we go. Claudio Castagnoli versus the champion, the Ocho, Chris Jericho. Castagnoli wasted no time very early on in this one, immediately going after Chris Jericho. And I thought these guys had a really strong matchup. This was like Jericho kind of in his bag. I love Jericho early on trying to chase Ian Riccaboni and Caprice Coleman. He got a couple of near falls with a code breaker, as well as he got the walls at one point. I thought commentary did a good job throughout the night. Ian and Caprice are just such a great commentary duo, but especially in this match, kind of talking about how the Walls of Jericho has put away different people during this run. You had the nice little reversal where it looked like Claudio was about to hit an avalanche Ricola bomb off the top rope, and Jericho was able to reverse it into a Hurricane Rana. In the latter stages, it looked like Castagnoli kept trying to go for the swing. He tried to go for the swing, and Jericho was able to twist out into the Walls of Jericho at one point. You had Cool Hand and Daddy Magic made their way down to the ring. It gave Jericho the bat. He struck him with the back for another near fall. Menard and Parker were ejected from ringside, and then Castagnoli was able to get Jericho finally in the swing. He got him in the swing. 28 rotations is what I counted. You guys in the crowd never know how to count swings. Y'all count footsteps. Y'all count footsteps instead of actual rotations, but it was 28 swings in my count. And in the midst of the 28th swing, Jericho got his hand to the mat and tapped out mid-swing. Claudio Castagnoli, the new Ring of Honor World Champion. Wheeler Yuta and Jerry Lynn come out to close the show to celebrate with Castagnoli. We get the confetti. We get the streamers. Castagnoli is now a two-time Ring of Honor World Champion. And boy, oh boy, do I know this finish. I knew once I saw this finish, I was like, this is going to get a polarizing reaction. And I have seen people on this channel say that it's the worst finish, a worse finish than the finger poke of doom. I've heard people on social media saying it's the most creative, most inventive finish that any company has ever came up with. So it's very hyperbole in both stances of the word. I said last night, I liked the finish. I thought it was unique. It caught me off guard. It was surprising. I love the match. I think these guys worked very hard with each other, and this was another kind of quality matchup in Jericho's 2022. I gave the match itself 4 stars. Ness, give us your thoughts. What did you think of this finish and the match overall?
So let's start with the match. I thought the match was great. They had put on a great performance. Chris Jericho looked like, I don't know, I guess it was with certain performers he's in the ring with, he looked like he dials it back a couple years, like he was Lionheart Chris Jericho. Like it was nice to see someone of the caliber of Claudio to get that performance out of Chris Jericho. I really enjoyed that. So let's just go to it. The finish, I give the match 3.5. It was all well on its way to being 4 for me. I think that finish was weak. I've never seen anybody tap to the swing, even someone of lesser caliber than Chris Jericho or even Claudio Castagnoli. They haven't even tapped to this. Guys that are not even on their level have not tapped to this move. Regular people on regular weekly television have not tapped to this move. Yet, the main event supposed to be the biggest show of this brand at the end of the year, Your star, the Ocho, taps to a swing. I just thought that was a weak finish, a weak way to go out. I get it. Jericho's not pinned. So, I mean, he taps, but he taps to like a weak ass move, in my opinion. You know, I don't take the swing seriously. Nobody takes it seriously. It's there for entertainment. You're swinging the guy, we count, we all have fun while you're doing it. You're not supposed to actually win a match with it. Or I've never seen you win a match with it. So now actually winning a world title with it kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. But again, it's because of the caliber of these guys, like the caliber of wrestler these guys are. So having the match end like that, in my opinion, kind of was on the same length of the opening contest of the main hour, the main show, with the referee botch on the pin and stuff. I'm like, is that really supposed to win? But like you said, I didn't even notice that Jericho tap. I had to watch it again to watch him literally tap on the ground. And I'm like, oh, Jericho, you're a bitch. How do you tap out to this move? Of all moves you could have tapped to, of everything that Claudio has done to you in this match, that's what made you want to give up. But I get, Jericho's not the same guy that he was all those years ago. Put on some pounds. Maybe he couldn't take all the parties. A rock star, maybe the rock star lifestyle. He might not make it. So he couldn't deal with it all. So that's probably why he tapped. Again, the match I thought was great. I really didn't like the finish. But again, I'm not gonna give the match itself a bad rating due to the finish, because it was good up until the end. So yeah, 3.5.
What about you, Caden? What did you think of the main event and the finish?
So I'm trying to get Blood and Guts pulled up because I want to see how long the swing was there, because that's what everybody's talking about, is they took the swing there. I'm just trying to see like how long that swing was.
But people that are pointing out the Blood and Guts cage swing are ignoring the fact that might be why he tapped out. Because he's feared the swing ever since he took it on the top of Blood and Guts. You're actually making the argument for why Jericho tapped out. Even though you think you're pointing out the flaw in the story, you're pointing out the reason why he tapped out. Because the swing on the top of the cage, he has PTSD, basically.
Yeah, and Jericho's also said multiple times in interviews that that's his least favorite move to take in pro wrestling. So it adds that, why would this guy, why would he not tap when he starts taking it? He fucking hates it. It's his least favorite move to take. He feels shit from it. This match went about 17 minutes and 5 seconds is what Cage Match says. So he went through about 16 minutes and 30 seconds of a match before he got into the swing. So he was brutalized by that point. And it was they were beating the fuck out of each other. Claudio knocked him out with that uppercut, and rung his bell is the term I was looking for. So, I got to the swing. Awesome. So, this makes sense. I don't understand the complaint about the finish. This makes sense that Jericho would tap from it. And I know, Romeo saying people using the word unique or interesting just means it's another way of saying it's trash. No, it's not. You can have unique and interesting finishes.
That's just Romeo being mad that people disagree with him. That's it. That's all that comes down to.
4, 5, 6 swings. He did 6 fucking swings compared to 20 fucking 8. That is a 22 swing difference between the cage and last night. That's why he tapped. You go get swung 28 times by Claudio and see how you feel. I know people are like, oh, he's just dizzy. No, that's not all it does. It can knock you out. It could, if you do it long enough, you can pass out from taking the swing like that, depending on the velocity of the swing. And Claudio was swinging them pretty damn fast. You can 100% pass out. Plus, add to the fact that Jericho probably was scared that he get flung across the ring, and then he's so dizzy that he hits his head and gets concussed. There's so many factors into this that people are just stupid and don't understand how it works to take a spin like this. I don't know why everybody's just like, oh, it just makes you dizzy. No, it doesn't. It can make you pass out. That's I originally thought that I didn't realize Jericho had tapped. I thought Jericho had passed out from the swing. And I was like, okay, I thought he had passed out, and that would have been believable to me because it's realistically, you could pass out from the swing. This was great. I loved the match. I loved everything in the match. There's not a single thing I didn't like. I loved that. I love when Jericho, like, he very quickly, like, he hit Claudio in the, like, kicked him in the stomach, and then went to go run to take out Riccaboni and Caprice, because that's what he's been doing for months. He's been torturizing he and Riccaboni, and then Riccaboni takes off. Like, they booked it.
I didn't understand. I saw like Twitter handles or social media posts where people like, oh, why is he doing that? That's strange. I was like, have you been watching the product? Like, he does this. He's been doing this every week. He's been trying to get at Ian Riccaboni. That's like his golden whale that he hasn't accomplished yet. As Riccaboni,
that's the last person he has to take out. He already took out Bobby Cruz.
Yep. So he needs to get his hands on Riccaboni or Caprice.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that they could also, like, on television, you could sell that you can say like Jericho had vertigo, like something gave him vertigo going into the match. And that's another thing you can add to this. Like, in promos, you can add to the reason why Jericho tapped out to this. And that's a very easy thing to do. Like, yeah, Frantic World said if someone has vertigo and they took it, they're fucked.
Yeah.
Like, that's like, you would never, like, when Kenny Omega had vertigo last year, and I know he, like, obviously did not wrestle Claudio, but if he ever did, they would not have done the swing. Because you cannot do that with somebody who has vertigo. You're done. You're done for a while after that. So there's I think that they can add to it also in the future and kind of like add reasoning behind this. I understand, I will say I understand why people didn't like the finish. That's I think that WWE and AEW so far, they've never used the swing as a finish. So I understand that. At the same time, there's been a lot of wrestling moves hit in the last year in AEW that were finishes that were not normally finishing moves. They've done this a lot. There was one, I don't remember what match it was, but there was one last week or the week before that I had never seen it finish a match, and it did because of how tired the person was in the match. That's just pro wrestling. Like, look at when Bryan Danielson was beating everybody with different moves. None of those moves were normally used as finishers in AEW or WWE beforehand, but he is so good at wrestling that he can make you submit or pin you with that move. Good wrestlers can use basic wrestling moves to put someone out, like Okada with the Rainmaker. It's just a basic short arm lariat, yet he still takes you out with it. We don't complain like when Hangman hits the buckshot lariat, but I don't see people complaining that Logan Paul hit Roman Reigns with the buckshot and Roman Reigns kicked out. I don't see people complaining about that. It's wrestling. It's fake.
I'm more in the middle of y'all. Like, I understand why the people are upset or didn't like the finish, like Ness, but I like the finish, and I understand why Kaden loved the finish because it was very creative. It came out of nowhere, and especially if you're there live, that I would have loved to see that finish live because I would have been like, "Yo, what the fuck just happened?" That was really my reaction and why I enjoyed the finish is because I was like, wait, what the fuck just happened? He just tapped out? Holy shit. Like, that's all of the words that I was saying when I was realizing what just happened. That was like a flash finish. And I love those. I love those in wrestling.
Yeah, that's why I'm a big fan of when, like, I love a good backslide or a small package to finish a match. Like, I think did a small package win in the acclaimed FTR match?
No, it was the sit down pin one.
Okay, yeah, but it was still like
Bret Hart WrestleMania 10.
It was a pinning combination, right?
Yeah. Sit down pin. And
I love when matches finish like that. Like, if you go watch Bret and Owen. Owen beat Bret using a victory roll.
He just sat down on the victory roll. That's all Owen did.
I love a finish in wrestling, especially in big matches where you expect the biggest possible move to finish. Like, going back to Okada, you expect Okada to hit those 4 Rainmakers, and then he finishes the match with the 4 Rainmakers. I like when a move in a big wrestling match, just like a random move, can finish it. I think that like Sean Ross Sapp said it on the post show yesterday for Final Battle. He said, good wrestlers can win with wrestling moves.
Yes.
That's what that was. Claudio has won, I believe he's won matches in AEW, but just hitting the uppercut.
Yeah, he won on Wednesday. On Wednesday, he hit the uppercut on John Hager, and that's how he won.
Color bomb.
Yeah.
So he hit somebody with an uppercut. We see a million uppercuts in wrestling, but I don't see people complaining about that. It's just because like they've kind of conditioned, like WWE conditioned people to thinking that the swing is this very sports entertainer move.
Yes.
But in reality, it's a brutal move to take. I think people just don't, people see it and don't realize that it's a brutal move.
Yeah, I think that's the whole thing is WWE has conditioned people to just view it as this kind of what was his sports entertainment thing that got him over.
Yeah.
So him using that against Jericho is actually creative in storytelling because it's he beat him with what fans would define as his most sports entertaining move.
Yeah,
he beat
I
Jericho
really like
with
that
it.
too.
I like that.
I love that little, like, there's also that story aspect of the most sports entertainery move that somebody in the BCC does. Anybody that, like, that is the most sports entertainer move out of any of the 4 members. So the fact that he beat the king of sports entertainers with a sports entertainer move, I like that. I'm a really big fan of that, like, storyline, like the storytelling there. I really like that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you there. Did anything Caden say convince you, Ness?
Not really.
It's fine. Like, if you didn't like it, it's fine. Wrestling is subjective. I don't care.
I like the fact that, I will say this, the fact that the sports entertaining move beat the sports entertainer. I do enjoy that aspect of it, since you put it that way. But still, I'm not sold on the swing being this devastating move. Like, it hasn't been up until this point.
Oh, so if he swung him 50 times, you would have been like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, shit.
you just wanted a higher number of swings. That's what Ness's biggest complaint is. It wasn't a higher number of swings. Yeah. That's what it comes down to. Most other people complaining, even Romeo himself. That's what it came down to. Because Romeo say, laugh my ass off at these weak excuses. You had weak excuses for not liking it. Like, Ness made the most sense. You didn't make any sense last night. Ness made sense of why you didn't enjoy it. This is actually logical thinking of why it makes sense and why it was a good move to do. And Ness kind of understands that part of it. So there's a difference.
Jericho.
But that brings us.
Guys in the middle. Romeo, he's
on the other side with Big Mike saying that it's worse than the finger poker dude. That was the most stupidest thing we have ever had said on this channel, and I just wanted to let that be known. But
yeah, people, oh my god, he said it.
We're gonna move on. We're not even gonna talk about it any longer. For Ring of Honor Final Battle 2022, thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle in 3, 2, 1. Thumbs up across the board out of 10. What did you give the show, Caden?
I'm gonna get hate on this. I'm saying a 10. It's my pay-per-view of the year.
Oh my
you guys are giving me a legit headache. You're giving me a brain aneurysm.
Okay, bye. I mean, we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that.
This was my pay-per-view of the year. I think being there in person adds another layer to it.
Creative, unique, interesting.
Oh my god.
Wow. Words that cover up the true word. Trash.
Okay, why was it trash? Why was it trash? You still have not eloquently said why you think it's trash. And see, even Russia feels like your opinion is trash. So please let us know why it's trash.
Oh, he just froze.
Exactly. That's what I said. I said Russia doesn't agree with his bullshit ass. Get out of here. Out of 10, Caden, you said 10. Ness, what did you give the show?
Last night on the stream, watching it because I joined late. I put it at thumbs in the middle. I said it was 5. Rewatching the full show and getting a better understanding of some of the matches, I give it a 7.
Yeah, I go with 7.5 out of 10. I enjoyed this show. I think that the opener was hurt by that dumb finish. Like I said, I enjoyed the finish of the main event. I thought all the matches pretty much were good. There wasn't relatively anything bad on the main card. And even on the pre-show, I think all of those were at least decent enough. Were decent enough to get by. So yeah, 7.5 out of 10. Had one of the matches of the year on the card. So definitely, I'd say this one delivered. I go because it had one of the matches of the year on it. I'll go 8 out of 10. I'll go 8 out of 10.
I think like maybe in a month I'll cool down and I might like have Full Gear or Forbidden Door take over as my pay-per-view of the year. I think just like I'm feeling the energy. I'm still hyped up on it. Yeah. Being there, just nothing, like everything clicked for me really well. And I did not have high expectations going into the show. I was kind of like, I was really worried actually. I was like, oh, this could be a waste of money. This could be a waste of a 3-hour drive. And then I was like, oh, this is awesome. Everything worked for me. So right now it is my pay-per-view of the year.
All right, match of the night. What you going with, Caden? Are you still going with Swerve and Our Glory versus Shane Taylor Promotions?
It's really close between the three, like that, Wheeler, Garcia, and the Briscoes. Because the Briscoes, I expected it to be real. I expected the other two to be really good. That's why I'm going to stick with Swerve and Our Glory versus STP, because I didn't have any expectations. Everything else was like, okay, this is going to be really good. And that tag match just exceeded every expectation I had.
What about you, Ness? Match of the night.
For me, the dog collar match with a honorable mention to the pure title match.
Yeah, the pure title match is probably not going to get as much talk about it, but I definitely enjoyed the hell out of that match, enjoyed the hell out of the main event, but definitely match of the night, FTR Briscoes 3, double dog collar, just an epic bloody spectacle that I'm always going to remember. One of the greatest final battle matches of all time. It's right up there. Morishima versus Danielson, Aries versus Joe, up there with all the great ones that I can remember.
Final battle had Steen and Generico, right?
Yes, yeah. Both of them. They had the Fight Without Honor and the Ladder War. I was there live for Ladder War. That was one of the best.
That's why I'm excited to have Honor Club so I can go watch that. I've never watched it.
And also, I do want to say, for all those that think the FTR Briscoes feud is over, I don't think so. I think we might get one more.
I think
they mentioned that they are tied 2 falls each because of the 2 out of 3 falls match.
Yeah.
So I think we're getting Ladder War at Supercard of Honor. Wait, 1 year from the first match.
They're not tied. No, FTR got 2 falls in the 2 out of 3 falls, so it's 3-2.
Oh, well, that's what commentary said. Commentary said in the last 2 matches. That's what they specified. They said the last 2 matches.
In the last 2, yes. If you take out the first match, then they're tied. I think I think we could see a 3 stages of hell. That's where
no. Please, dear God, do not listen to Caden, because I lived through this in 2019 when Cole and Gargano had one of the greatest 2 out of 3 falls matches of all time, and then they turned around and said, "Oh, let's do a 2 out of 3 falls this time, but let's do it 3 stages of hell." Guess what? It wasn't better. It was less. I don't want to do that to them. I think the way to do it is to give them a different type of match, and Ladder War would be that.
That's the other one I was thinking is, like, I wouldn't mind a 60-minute Iron Man.
I mean, I don't know how physical these guys go. I wouldn't want them to put their bodies through 60 minutes.
Well, I think the 2 out of 3 falls was like a 45-minute match. It was really long.
Yeah, and Jay Briscoe did not wrestle for another month and a half. So no, I do not want to see them put their bodies through 60 minutes. So
I don't care about their bodies. I care about my wrestling.
You don't care about people. Get out of here. MVP for the show, Ness.
I'm gonna go with Claudio and Yuta, bringing gold back to the BCC.
Claudio and Yuta. What about you, Caden? MVP for the show.
Me.
Only caring about yourself once again. I go with Wheeler Yuta and Claudio Castagnoli, Blackpool Combat Club, because they finally finished this damn feud with the JAS.
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna be like, we finally got the end. I'll go with Claudio because he got to sing "Deep in the Heart of Texas" after the match. He sang "Deep in the Heart of Texas."
Jesus Christ, Caden.
He legitimately did sing
LVP for the show. Stefan Smith, the referee from the first match. Ness.
Oh, that's another one. Oh, I forgot. That's one of my MVPs, co-MVPs.
What?
The referee, then Wheeler, and then Claudio.
Why?
Big ups to that ref. My LVP.
He fucked up the finish?
Because he fucked up the finish. You're giving him MVP?
No, the ref in the Briscoe match. That took
yeah. He deserves love. He deserves love. Yes.
Yeah, he gets some. But yeah, so I got 2 LVPs. The ref that fucked up the opening match, and then Swerve. Because you left your man hanging, and then he won the match without you anyway. So you're a non-factor.
This is true. That is a good point. Did you give your LVP, Caden?
No, mine actually is going to Mike Posey because his dumbass decided to step in front of a dog collar for no, like the dog
He
collar
got
shot for no
pulled.
reason.
He got pulled.
Oh, he
by
got
Jay.
pulled.
He
I
got
didn't
pulled by
see that.
Yeah, he got pulled
I
by
didn't.
Jay.
I thought that he stepped in.
No. They just played it up that he was getting too close, and then Jay pulled him in to the punch.
Well, he shouldn't have been that close. That's his fault.
He's like, I'm still right. I'm still right.
Wait, so this is, people were actually booing the referee before he got hit because everyone was like, this is a dog collar match. And the whole time he was like, Dax, you need to, or I think it was Dax or Cash, he was like, stop doing this. Stop hitting him with the dog collar. And it's like, what do you mean stop hitting him with the dog collar? It's a dog collar match. Shut up. Get away. Like, Paul Turner was on the outside of the ring. That's where he should have been. Mike should have been on the outside or like 10 feet away on the other side of the ring. Like, get in position to count the pinfall if there's a pinfall. But there was nowhere close to having a pinfall there. Why do you got to be so close? That's his fault.
Paul Turner knew what he was doing. He's like,
look at that. Bell said it best. Let the ref live. It was a bad day for the refs yesterday, people. Let them live.
I don't think Mike Posey's that good. So, like, I don't want to be mean, but I don't think he's a good referee.
Jesus Christ. Okay. Now we get
I don't think
But that is all for Ring of Honor Final Battle. But there was another show on last night. I don't know.
Wrestling.
Yeah, we have NXT Deadline. You see how we switched it up? So smooth. So smooth. NXT Deadline was last night. We're trying to get through this a little bit faster. We don't have any strong opinions, I don't think. No, we do. Let's talk about the opener for NXT Deadline since they don't have any matches on the pre-show. But shout out to Denise Salcedo for being on the pre-show. Shouts out to that hardworking woman in sports infotainment. But they started off things on the show with the Women's Iron Survivor match. 5 participants. They started off with Zoe Stark and Roxanne Perez in the ring. I like the nifty little scoreboard that they had as well. It kept things flowing where I was able to keep track of things. Next in was Kiana James. Around the 9:30 point, Zoe hits her finisher, her knee to the face, kind of go to sleep type move on Roxanne to get the first fall in the contest. So Roxanne was forced to go into the penalty box. At this point, Indy came into the matchup. She came in next. I believe at that point, that's when she hit no. It was first Cora Jade snuck a pin and she got the next fall about the 12:30 mark because she was next in. And then Indy was the last participant into the matchup. She hit a big boot to get her first fall of the match. Then Roxanne Perez scored a fall to even things up, a 4-way tie at that point. It came down to the last final minutes around the 23-minute point. We have the former friends Cora and Roxanne going at it, with Roxanne hitting the pop rocks to get the final pinfall of the matchup, to get 2 falls and to run out the final 2 minutes. She gets the win. Roxanne Perez is the first ever Women's Iron Survivor Challenge winner. I gave this match 3.5 stars. I thought the stipulation was very unique and they used it well, but I don't think that the action was as great as it could have been, but I thought the energy and the effort was there. Ness, what did you think?
Yeah, I gave it 3.5 as well. The energy and effort was there. Again, I don't think it was like outstanding to an extent, but again, it's the first of its kind in NXT. I feel as though they could have had maybe 1 or 2 other different participants in there. I think that's probably what really hurt it compared to the men's, which we'll talk about later. But like Roxanne, she delivered, Indy delivered, and Zoe Stark, and these are all women who I feel are like at the top of their class in NXT, far as in ring. Not really sold on Cora Jade, and I feel as though Kiana James shouldn't have been in the match.
Dude, she slowed everything down. Like, it was just, she was so out of place in this match. I like Cora Jade. I think that she fits more as a heel, but Kiana James did not need to be in this match.
Yeah, she did. She definitely didn't need to be in this match. And Road Dogg went so hard trying to put her over to put her in this match. And I'm just like, nah, that ain't working. You just like her because of her last name. Yeah, I mean, it was a solid. I'm not gonna, talk down on it, but the right person won definitely. And let's just see if they actually have her beat Mandy this time, because I felt like the first run going around, I thought she was going to get it done. And then they just put her in. I don't understand why every feud surrounding the NXT Women's title, like there has to be some type of best friends thing going on. Like, oh, all of a sudden Cora and Roxanne were the best of friends. Like, when the fuck did that happen? You guys were just
well, no, they did kind of establish
talk.
that from her debut that she was friends with Cora, but they rushed that fucking story ridiculously.
So I probably missed that in translation somewhere. But again, I think
NXT doesn't know how to treat women right now.
They give them time. They just don't
like in terms
out
of
their stories. Yeah, they don't.
Every story is a girl turning on another girl.
On that, because I complain about that every Tuesday. But again, this is something I think they did going in the right direction. Again, the next time they have this match, hopefully they think of the performance aspect, because I'll get into more of that once we talk about the men's. But 3.5, this match was solid. Great opener.
What about you, Kaden?
I got this at a 4. I really liked this. This stipulation I was very worried about. And I was like, okay, this could easily go and become like an absolute shit show. But I thought this ended up being really well done. There's some opportunities they missed with the penalty box. Maybe like having Cora. I think they could have had Cora and Roxanne like brawling in the penalty box for 90 seconds. That could have been fun. But in terms of like what they gave us, and that's what I'm going to judge this off of, I really, really, really liked this match. I thought it was it was really good. And Roxanne winning was a great decision. I actually disagree about Kiana James. I liked her in this match. I had never seen her work before, and I thought she was fine. Like, there was some stuff that she might have slowed down a little bit, but it's a good spot to give somebody who's newer. And for somebody who's only been wrestling for maybe a year, I think she's actually been really good. So I was impressed by her. So this was great. Roxanne winning at the very last second, and then everybody like battling to try to get a pinfall, and Cora almost getting that pinfall at the very end, but missing because of the clock. I really like that finish there.
Yeah, the finish was cool with the clock running out, and this was a lot more effective than the final seconds of the men's one. Spoiler alert. Kiana James, just everything she did, it was in slow motion. She literally can't do an Irish whip without it feeling like she's taking 2 extra steps than she should have. I think that she's good when I see her in regular matches. Like I saw her against Thea Hill, she was good. I saw her against Fallon Henley, she was good. She's got a nice little finisher. She's got a good act. She talks well. In this match, I didn't see any of that.
The porn accountant.
Yeah, the porn accountant. Next up, we had a backstage segment. Ivy Now with Tatum Paxley knows the Creed brothers aren't happy with her over the way she revealed Julia's injured ribs, as it was supposed to be Creed brothers versus Indus Sher on the show. Katana Chance and Kaden Carter interrupted, and a title match seemed imminent. And then we get into our next matchup, another women's bout, as Alba Fire looked to get revenge on the woman that cost her the NXT Women's Championship, as she went one-on-one with Isla Dawn. I thought the match was going just fine until Alba Fire sets up Isla Dawn for her swanton, and then she touches the referee's leg, and the referee, Alba Fire, hits the swanton, and we see the referee is being possessed and spitting up black goo like he's Randy Orton being possessed by the Fiend, or he's Alexa Bliss's head at WrestleMania 37. What the fuck are we? What? Or he was chewing on a black pen. I don't know, either one of those, but the referee is convulsing and spitting up black goo. Isla smiles at Alba at one point after she got a near fall after this, and then Dawn finally pushes her into an exposed turnbuckle, hits her reverse DDT for the win in just under 10 minutes. Now that finish was worse than Final Battle main event. I don't care what the fuck these marks and trolls say. That finish completely. I was like, what the fuck am I watching? Ness, I give the match 2 stars. I'll be generous in that way, but man, that finish almost took me out of the whole show. I felt like going to sleep right after that. But Ness, what did you think?
So quick question. Have you guys ever seen Pee-wee's Big Adventure?
Yes.
I have not. I'm too young.
Okay. So remember when he gives the dude Francis the trick gum, and he starts all that.
Yes, exactly.
That's what that reminded me of. I give the match 2.5. This definitely was a worse finish than the ROH main event. I'm not even going to lie. The match itself was okay up until that point, because it didn't even look like she put like a spell on him. She just touched his leg, literally just touched his leg. Next thing you know, he's like foaming at the mouth, spitting out all this black shit, and like, oh, this is where we're going with this right now. Okay, yeah, don't insult my intelligence. I already felt my intelligence was somewhat insulted by the end of the ROH show, but I really felt like my intelligence was being insulted by the end of this match with the way that the ref got possessed and, you know, needed an exorcism.
Like Caden said when he tried to make sense of the finish the final battle. I can see someone tapping out from being swing too much because of PTSD, because of having, you know, vertigo. I cannot see a referee being possessed and spitting up black goo because he got touched on the leg. Like Big Mike saying, no, it wasn't. Big Mike, you sounded as goofy as fucking Romeo last night. So you can keep on. You can keep on
Big Mike
riding
is
the
from
Romeo
Detroit.
train.
He can't
That's
help.
fine.
He's from Detroit. He can't help it. SP3.
I know. I feel bad.
I feel bad for the man.
Yeah.
This was okay. So in terms of the match itself, I actually really liked the match. I had never seen Isla Dawn work. I've seen Kaylee Ray. I really like her matches, and I had never seen Isla, and I thought she was pretty good. I really liked the in ring there. God, this fucking finish! What the hell? Like, yeah, you said Alexa Bliss at WrestleMania 37 night 2 when she just popped up from the box and was just like, bleh. Like, what in the what is going on here? Like, you think this was a better? If you think this is a better finish than somebody tapping from 30 swings, you have something wrong with you.
Yo, like you really need
help.
You really need help. Yeah, like honestly,
you need therapy.
I feel very
you need therapy from this.
Dead ass. Like we need to start doing a therapy segment for these people. That if you really honestly think the final battle finish was worse than a referee spitting up black goo because he got touched on the leg, then maybe wrestling isn't for you. I don't know. Maybe you prefer horror films more than wrestling. I don't know.
Yeah, this was stupid. And can I address Sifit's comment about NXT and women real quickly?
Go ahead.
I'm gonna put that up. When I mean that NXT doesn't treat women well, I mean like they give them time, but the storylines are terrible and treat them like very stereotypical. AEW has issues with the women's division, but I don't think the issue has ever been treating them stereotypical. That's an issue I don't think they've ever really had there. Like they treat them like they're people.
Yeah, that is true. For the most part, that is true.
For the most part, yeah. There's like probably like some instances here and there, but like just go look at the Jade promo. Like that's treating Jade like a real human being there, and not just like a woman, like someone who's just gonna be like, bitch. That's all their vocabulary, according to Shawn Michaels. The only word they know is bitch.
He saw that Key and Peele segment once, and he's been using it ever since, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, this was definitely the weakest thing on either show for me. I thought Isla Dawn looked good. I thought she was fine. And I thought they worked well with each other. But I'm sorry, sometimes the finish. I do agree with the people who were kind of over the top with the final battle finish. Sometimes the finish can affect your view of the matchup. So all the good work that they did for the 8 minutes before that spot got ignored once I saw that spot.
I watched this match last night. I think I watched it last night, like 3 hours after the show had ended. So I had heard about the finish. So I expected it. So I was like, all right, let me just enjoy the in-ring before I get to this bullshit. So I think that's why I'm able to I liked it a little better. So I gave it a 3-star.
Yeah, I told you I wanted to go to sleep after this matchup. It was a late day. I woke up early. I did True Hill Heat early. I got 2 kids. I wanted to go to sleep after that finish. I was like, Man, y'all lucky y'all putting on New Day right now, because if it wasn't for the New Day, I would be going to sleep right now. But
talking
the
about
new
sleep, I legitimately did fall asleep during the New Day match.
I almost did. I
was really tired.
I was really tired too, but I almost
I
did.
woke up at the finish.
I didn't, because the New Day is just that damn good. So we got the New Day coming to NXT, getting a shot at Pretty Deadly's NXT Tag Team Championships. We did have a little promo with them beforehand, talking about them wanting to be Triple Crown champions. We got a little twerk contest at first with Kofi versus Wilson. That was a funny little moment. Kofi was very athletic through this. Monkey flips. He was doing his little dive to the outside. We got one of my favorite spots of this was after Pretty Deadly's heat segment. We got the hot tag for Woods. He came in running wild. And then we had a 4-way spot where the titles got involved. Pretty Deadly grabbed the championships. And as the referee was dealing with one title, they started trying to do the Eddie spot with the other title. And everyone did the Eddie spot at once. That was great. I love that. I love the fans saying this is awesome after it. It was just so much fun. The finish broke down. Kingston on the outside hits the Trouble in Paradise on Wilson in the ring. The Prince, he gets the midnight hour to give New Day the win, and new NXT Tag Team Champions. They complete the Triple Crown. This match was an absolute blast. This went 14 minutes, but it never had a dull period to it. It kept up. New Day just know how to go out there and bring out the most in their opponents, and Pretty Deadly are really special. They are a special tag team, and that's why I thought New Day should win this match to do a program with them, because I think that's going to be nothing but beneficial for Pretty Deadly. But I love this match. I gave it 3 3/4 stars. What did you think, Caden?
I watched 5 minutes of this and then I fell asleep.
I thought you would at least try to watch it when you woke up this morning. Thanks, Caden. Anywho, Ness.
I woke up 30 minutes before we did the show. I needed some. I was so tired because I did the UFC stream on here last night too. So I was very tired.
I ain't stay up for UFC. I took my ass to sleep.
I should have stopped and watched the rest of the show and went to sleep. I was so tired. But from what I watched, it was good. I'm very excited to rewatch because it has a very high, it's like an 8 point. What was the rating on Cage Match? It's like it's an 8.19. So I'm really with 69 votes. Nice.
Like Fala B said at the beginning, tag team wrestling fans was eating because this was arguably. I can understand if people said this was their match of the night on the show because it had so much energy. Pretty Deadly had a great heat segment that never got dull. And then the New Day with their hot tag is always so much fun. This was a blast. What did you think, Ness?
Yeah, I agree. I gave it 3 3/4 stars. I really enjoyed it. Going into it, I really wasn't looking forward to this match because I feel like this is just random as shit. But regardless, the New Day is the New Day, So I don't ever have a problem really seeing unless it's just the Usos for another million times. But that's a whole nother conversation. I'm actually surprised they won. I was really conflicted on who was going to get the victory out of this because I really didn't see the New Day getting the victory. But they're obviously not beating the Usos. Nobody's really beating the Usos right now. So this is actually a nice consolation prize for them. Let them go and do an NXT, have a couple matches with, whoever in NXT fires. Well, the Creeds, I like to see them versus the Creeds at some point.
Yes, I feel like if they're not gonna put the titles back on Pretty Deadly, then the match to do is New Day versus Creeds. If you want to take the titles off of them, the Creeds feel like the best tag team, and I pretty much called this win for the New Day is because what Bell said in the chat is that NXT is going back on the road. You saw with Stand and Deliver with them putting the title on Dolph Ziggler. NXT believes they can sell more tickets with the main roster star holding one of their titles, so it just made sense for New Day to win here.
As far as New Day just being that merchandise conglomerate, they're definitely going to want to do that. That makes a lot of sense. So I'm not opposed to it at all, and I wouldn't mind seeing these guys on Tuesdays because I barely see them on Mondays or Friday or whatever show that they're on. Like it matters, they can pop up on Monday or Friday. So hey, they got a new home currently on Tuesdays.
Absolutely. And then next up, we had the match a lot of people were looking forward to on this show, which was the men's Iron Survivor. Before that match, Caden Carter and Katana Chance, they ran into Malik Blade, Idris Enofe, and Odyssey Jones. They were getting along, and then once the guys leave, pretty Toxic Attraction came in to mock the champions, but then they got into a brawl with Paxley and Nile, and I legitimately was like, did I miss a segment? Why is Paxley and Nile attacking Toxic Attraction like this? Like, when did Toxic Attraction attack them?
I don't even remember. It might have been something on this show.
I don't watch NXT, so
no, that's why I'm Xing Ness, because he is supposed to be watching NXT every week.
Pay attention, but half the time I'm high and I'm really not attention. Because a lot of this shit on the show that I'm just like, all right, this doesn't matter. Why does it matter? I think it was because I think now I may be wrong, guys. Correct me in the chat if I'm wrong. I think there was like a backstage segment going on or something was being said. And I think Toxic Attraction might have came up and said something to Ivy Nile and Tatum Paxley. And then, they're just trying to, get their momentum back or whatever. But yeah, it was just something. This didn't need to happen. They could have saved this for Tuesday.
And plus, I thought Ivy Nile and Tatum Paxley were the baby faces. Why are the baby faces attacking the heels from behind?
Yeah, like it was all this is unnecessary. Then they have fucking Idris Enofe and Malik Blade and Odyssey Jones breaking up. Those fucking simps.
Idris and Malik ain't slick. They just was touching them to cop a feel.
Bro, they do every time there's something with the women, these motherfuckers pop up out of nowhere and they'll, oh no, ladies, I can, like they did it every time it's Toxic Attraction. They're always there for Toxic Attraction. They pop up out of nowhere for them. They're like,
can you blame them?
No, I can't. Hey, I'm kind of jealous.
They sipping for Toxic. Sipping for Toxics. I ain't mad at it. Next was the men's Iron Survivor match. Same rules as before, 25 minutes, 5 competitors, penalty box, all that nonsense. We started off things with the rivals, Axiom and JD McDonough. I thought that was a good start between those two guys. JD going after the injured leg that he injured just a couple of weeks back. Then you had Carmelo Hayes coming in, and I was like, this is brilliant booking by Shawn Michaels. I got to give him credit for it. You put the best 3 workers in this matchup in the first opening 10 minutes of the matchup. Smart move. Hayes is able to hit a suplex cutter on McDonough onto Axiom to get the first win here about 7 minutes in. Grayson Waller comes in 4th, and my man Grayson Waller had up. I was like, yeah, that's my boy. That's my boy. He comes in, immediately hits the rolling cutter on Axiom and McDonough, gets back-to-back pinfalls. My man Waller, I was like, this man was born for this matchup. You had him and Hayes going at it at some points. Then Axiom, he came in out of the penalty box. You had McDonough and Axiom in the penalty box brawling even after their time expired. This ends with Axiom hitting a big old moonsault off the top of the box onto the competitors that were not in the penalty box. Hayes hits a super kick on Waller. He rolls up Axiom for a 2, but Waller is back in to drop both of them. Waller outside to yell at Booker. He calls Booker a bitch at that point, which I loved. I was like, yes! Axiom then rolls Grayson Waller up and he gets his first pinfall. Axiom then hits the golden ratio on McDonough and he gets another fall. So he's got 2 along with Waller. Then Joe Gacy comes in. Joe Gacy starts running raw on a bunch of folks. He gets a fall with the Rings of Saturn. Then he hits the upside down to get his second fall. At this point, then Carmelo is on the board again. He gets his second fall with a crossface on Waller, and then it was basically like desperation, and you felt that sense of urgency for all these guys to get the next fall in the matchup, to get the third and deciding fall. Carmelo is able to get a rush of offense. He hits the top rope. What is it called? nothing but net. Yeah, the nothing but net on Axiom off the top rope. And then Waller pulls him out of the ring. He gets the pin instead. And Waller gets his third pinfall with just less than 30 seconds to go. And he just runs around the ring as Carmelo and others run after him. And 30 seconds expires. We're at the 25-minute mark. And that means Grayson Waller is the men's Iron Survivor Challenge winner. And my man had the awesome celebration. He's dancing around. Love that image of everyone in the background looking mean. And then this man does a shoey. He did a damn shoey. Grayson Waller is such a great heel. He has improved so much. This was someone that I could not stand. And I was like, he was like my key example of 2.0 people that they were pushing down our throat. But from it, whether it's in the ring and coming up with different moves, like I love his kind of like throwback into the Prettier that he does. That rolling color always looks great, and just on the mic as a character, his whole presentation has improved, and he just felt like the guy to win this. Because Carmelo Hayes is a 2-time North American champion. He's kind of like the second to Braun Breaker as far as the new stars that they're building here. Grayson Waller needed this win. And all these guys delivered in this matchup. So this is my match of the night. Spoiler alert. I gave this 4.5 stars. I loved it. And the reason it gets even a quarter star more, because I was going to go 4 1/4, but it gets a quarter star more because Grayson Waller is one. Grayson Waller, I'm your stan, and I'm here to push the Grayson Waller agenda. Matt, what did you think?
So I give it also 4.5. I really enjoyed this match a lot. Going into it, just the weeks of leading up, you know, they had all the legends talking about who they wanted in this match. And every week, I was complaining about Von Wagner. He better not have been in this fucking match. I don't want to watch Von Wagner wrestle for 5 minutes. There is no way that I could potentially want to see him wrestle for 25 minutes. He didn't win. He wasn't put in this match. Axiom was the last entrant. And I think that was the best possible idea for them to do. They got everybody in this match, as far as like work rate, all these guys can work. And I think for this type of match, that was the main key ingredient that was needed for this type of match. Everybody got their shit in. Everybody looked good. I really think that, well, everybody except for JD McDonough, he didn't even get a fucking pin. But he looked good. And then on top of that, when they were in he kept getting his ass beat in the penalty box on top of that. So that I like that aspect of it too. I thought that was really funny. My only gripe was at the end when Grayson Waller got that last victory and everybody's chasing him. I just would have went over and pinned Axiom. That just let's, you know, use your brain here. I'm not going to chase around the guy that got the win because he's healthy. He's fine. Fuck you. I'm pinning the guy that you just pinned. But storyline wise, I get it. You know, I also have to sing his praises as well because I was one of the main people leading the fuck you Grayson Waller train. He's starting to work me over. He's starting to win me over a little bit. Not gonna lie. He already has the attitude. He has improved in the ring. These are the two things for me, far as a wrestling fan. If you don't have one or the other, I can still be a huge fan of you. He's working on both, more so of the in-ring. He already had the outlandish character and personality. Now it's actually meshing in with his in-ring ability as well. So I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm actually starting to become a fan of Grayson Waller for the many weeks and upon months that I've been being not a fan of his. So I really think that he should have won this match the way that he did. And him versus Braun's going to be good. I can't wait to see that. I can't believe I'm saying this. I can't believe I'm saying that. But yeah, I'm ready to see him versus Braun. And I like the fact that a heel won this because it kind of, and the way that he won it too. So
yeah,
it works
that's
out.
why I felt like he was the one to win it, because you could see him doing the sneaky win, and exactly how I thought he would win it. That's exactly how he won it. Like, I think it was the right move to go here. What did you think, Caden?
So I've watched bits and pieces of this match. This was and I watched bits and pieces while you were talking about it because this is the only thing I saw absolutely nothing from because I just never got to it last night. So I was just like, okay, I heard the finish stunk, so I went back and I watched the finish first. That finish was shit. I don't know why the hell you're chasing Grayson Waller when there's 3 other men who aren't in the penalty box. Because Axiom would have been in like the penalty box at that point. So go get somebody else. What are you doing? That was stupid. It's fine. Grayson Waller, I did look and I wanted to find out, okay, when did he attack Johnny Gargano? Because that was when everybody was like,
December
7th.
Yeah.
So it is now December 11th. And about a year and 3 days last night. The improvement he's made in a year is astronomical. He has improved so much. I still think that does he still use that outside of the ring rolling ring cutter bullshit? Yeah. And it's still a stupid ass move. But
it is definitely it should not be his finisher. I don't understand why it's his finisher. It should be a signature move, a transition
signature
move,
yes,
but
it
should not be his finisher. But
yeah, it's still a bad and then I think he feuded with AJ Styles, right?
Yeah.
With AJ?
I
was there for that. I remember being
in January.
Yeah, I was at NXT for that, and that was a good match. And I could have gone to Deadline if I wanted to for free. I decided to go Final Battle, but match was good. Like, everything I saw from it was good. Besides the finish, like the work rate. I watched that. I found the spot that you were talking about, the suplex into that cutter. That was awesome. That was really cool.
Ridiculous. I was like, yo, Mello,
was really cool.
Pulling out new moves. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, like the takeaway I have from this is almost because I haven't been able to watch everything. It's all storyline wise and potential. And so they already announced they're doing the Roxy and Mandy will be at New Year's Evil, and then they'll do Grayson Waller and Braun Baker at New Year's Evil. I think Sean said that last night during the post-show scrum
and that makes
the media
sense.
call.
That makes
sense.
that
makes perfect sense. I'm fine with them doing it. I'm interested to see what they do for what they're going to do with the men's if they do Mello at Vengeance Day instead of doing a Stand and Deliver, because I think they're going to put the title on Mello before Stand and Deliver because I think they want Braun Breaker up to do something at Mania. So I'm interested to see where they go with the title. Grayson Waller winning is fine. I do personally wish Mello had won, and you can have Grayson Waller attack Braun Breaker after the match, and you can set that up for New Year's Evil instead, and just have Grayson can be pissed because he lost the Iron Survivor at the last minute.
Grayson needed this win. Like Carmelo,
and I'm fine.
Carmelo's he's one of the more decorated guys that they've brought into this company in the past year. Grayson Waller did not have any accolades, so he needed.
Yeah, and that's why I'm like, knowing that they were going to do these 2 matches at New Year's Evil, perfectly fine. So yeah, I'm fine with everything that happened here. Finish was a little stupid, but oh well. I'm excited to rewatch this because I heard it was great.
Yeah, we do have a bit of breaking news from the Wrestling Observer Radio. I'm just seeing this now. That Sasha Banks has agreed to multiple dates for New Japan Pro Wrestling, and re-signing with WWE is still a possibility, although they are very far apart when it comes to money. So.
Okay, and I see what you're talking about.
Wanted to let that be known before we move on, keep it going here. But yeah, like I said, Grayson Waller, I'm a stand for you now.
Can I ask you guys a quick question? Because this was asked to us on the stream last night. Out of these 5 individuals who are in this match, it's actually asked for the women's match too, but I think this is a better example. Out of these 5 guys, who do you feel is main roster ready out of the 5?
Hayes, Waller, McDonough.
What was the question?
And honestly, I think all of these guys could be on the main roster.
Yeah,
because Joe Gacy has so much experience, and the act that he has is very unique, and it fits in with what WWE is doing right now as far as like multiple different stables and stuff. Yeah. Joe Gacy, you could just put his whole act on the main roster. He wouldn't fit out of place. Axiom is very underrated, and he's probably arguably the MVP of this match. He was the best worker in this match, in my opinion. And Grayson Waller's character and Mike skills is a main roster ready. Like the Grayson Waller effect That's a main roster talk show. That's on NXT. It's just like, this guy should be on the main roster by now. And Hayes, of course, he's the best of the 5. So
yeah, they gave something else I noticed is they gave Gacy his CZW look back for the ring gear.
Yeah, he switched that against Cameron Grimes. He went to tights again. I was like,
and you're expecting me to watch NXT? I don't know the last time I watched. I had it on while I was doing homework a few weeks ago, and I was more interested in doing my homework.
Oh, fair enough.
Hey,
see,
that's me every week, brother. I can't say nothing about it.
Ness rather smoke a blunt than pay attention to NXT every single week, and watch it here Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern time on NXT. But let's move on to the main event of this show for the NXT Championship. It was Braun Breaker defending against Apollo Crews. Apollo Crews, he looked like he was ready for this match. He looked in great shape as well. So did Braun Breaker, of course. They had a nice little big intro, and these two guys just went at it, hit a bunch of high impact moves, showing off their strength. Each man hit the other's finisher, with Braun Breaker getting a near fall with the spine buster, while Apollo Crews was able to hit the gorilla press into the power slam. You had both men hitting beautiful moonsaults, especially Braun Breaker, because his is not as nice as Apollo Crews, but he definitely hit it nice in this matchup. And then in the end, when Apollo went for the spine buster, Braun was able to reverse out of it, and then he hit a short running spear for the win to get the win here. I like this match. I gave it 3 3/4 stars. It was a strong match. Braun Breaker is another very much improved performer, and especially being in these last couple of matches with Tyler Bate as well as Ilya Dragunov, JD McDonough, he's improved even more. After the match, he was laid out though by Grayson Waller, who came in, hit the rolling cutter to stand tall and end NXT Deadline, holding the NXT Championship. What did you think about the main event and the post-match here, Ness?
Yes, I gave this 3 3/4 stars as well. Very solid match. It was, for me, it was weird watching these guys over the past couple of weeks. Like, actually, let me not say weird. I actually rather appreciate the fact that they didn't try to force one of them to be a heel, because neither one of them were heel. So, having these guys go out to breakfast at diners or go fishing with each other, like, that just actually made more sense than trying to make one of them be the bad guy. I actually appreciated that a lot more. The match, again, I didn't expect anything less than these guys to go out there and put on a great performance. I didn't expect these guys to go out there to do anything less than a great performance. The post-match is good as well. Grayson Waller, to stake his claim into going after the NXT title. So, I mean, it all works out. It all worked out very well. 3 3/4. So, how about you, Caden? Since since not here at the moment.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't even realize he left. I was looking at the Sasha Banks discourse on Twitter. This was fine. This was a serviceable main event. This is I have to go back and rewatch pretty much all of this show, just because during the first match, during the first women's Iron Survivor, I was driving, and then I fell asleep during New Day and Pretty Deadly. Did not even watch the men's Iron Survivor, and then during this match, I was getting bullied by Joel Pearl on the Fightful Overbooked watch along. He was bullying me. I had a rough night after that. I was like, why am I catching strays over here? I just said I wanted to be on the stream, and I'm just getting bullied the whole night. So I gotta rewatch this, but yeah, the ending. I thought the ending was a little anticlimactic. I was like, all right, okay, I guess that's the ending.
I'll be honest, a lot of Braun's matches have that anticlimactic feeling.
Yeah.
When he was finishing people, when he was finishing people with the gorilla press and the power slam, it always felt anticlimactic. Now that he's hitting people with the spear, it still feels pretty anticlimactic.
Yeah, I've always felt like that with the Braun finishes. They aren't amazing to me. So that's the one thing that kind of took this down a little bit. But yeah, definitely another, I'm really excited to rewatch this show, and with not being extremely tired, no matter to fall asleep or having to skim through, so I know the good shit that happened in the match. I'm excited to rewatch everything.
Ness, what did you think about the main event?
Well, I did when you were.
I think you talked about it.
Yeah.
Oh, my fault. My fault.
you talked
I
about it.
apologize.
It's all good. It's all good. I give
I had
it 3 3/4 stars as well, though.
Okay. So we're in agreement there, but that is all for NXT Deadline. So let's put our thumbs in the middle and let us know in the live chat. Thank you all for joining us for the full one. Give us your thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle. Match of the night, MVP, LVP. But for us, NXT Deadline, thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle in 3, 2, 1. Thumbs up for Ness. Thumbs in the middle for Caden, who only saw half of the show.
I haven't watched the show.
Only saw
why I went with the thumbs in the middle.
Only that's fair. That's fair. You only saw half of the show, so you can't go full thumbs up.
I can't. Yeah, I'll report back later when I watch everything.
Out of 10, what did you give the show, Ness?
I'm somewhere between 7.5 and 8. I think I'm gonna go with 8. I'm going with 8.
I'm going to go with an 8 out of 10 as well. I thought it was on par with ROH Final Battle. And I would say if I had to choose one of the shows between Deadline and Final Battle, I probably would lean towards Deadline. I think top to bottom, if you take out that Isla Dawn and Alba Fire matchup, it's nothing but 3.5, 4-star matches. So I think it was a very solid show. I would only slightly lean toward Deadline over Final Battle. But what about you, Ness? What did you think was the better show?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Deadline as well. Again, coming off of the finish to the main event of Final Battle, then going into the women's Iron Survivor, which I don't know, I just felt like a whole bunch, like the energy was a little different. But then everything else after that, going into the show, except for the Isle of Dawn and Alpha Fire, that fucking finish. Yeah, I had, which I didn't expect that whatsoever, because I was just talking shit about NXT the whole time we were on the ROH Final Battle stream. I'm like, yeah, gotta watch this shit later. Oh yeah, catch us on the stream later. We gotta watch this bullshit. But they actually made a believer out of me, so kudos to NXT. Now we can come back on Tuesday, then it's back to this shit
ain't gonna be doing. And I will say that was one thing that I thought lacked from both shows, is that they did not do anything to make people want to watch going forward. I don't think either show did a good job at that. ROH, at least with ROH, the last pay-per-view, they gave us that Blackpool Combat Club FTR stare down that they never paid off on. So at least there was something that you had interest in.
Yeah.
If you were going to be interested in Ring of Honor, it was because of that stare down. You were like, oh, what are they going to do next with Ring of Honor? I did not have that feeling with the ending here with Claudio being the champion. I was like, okay, great. You probably should have just had Jericho beat Gresham then. That was my biggest thought at the end of ROH, and at the end of this, I was like, okay, Grayson versus Ron Breakker. Yeah, I'm sure that'll put butts in the seats.
I think, and then going back to Final Battle and that, I think the original plan might have been to do Jericho and Gresham, and then Danielson getting injured kind of changed a lot of things, and Tony had to improvise and throw Claudio in a little earlier than he wanted to, and do the title match earlier than he wanted to, because we heard about Gresham getting pissed off about stuff. So I wonder if it was like he did have a whole plan, and they had their plan, and then because of Claudio, they had a last minute change everything, and it pissed Gresham off. There's so many things going on with ROH that Tony's just like constantly I feel like every 2 weeks Tony has an idea of what he wants, and then he's like, no, I want to do this instead. And I'm like, okay, make your mind up, follow the story. I hope that what they did here at Final Battle, this is where we're going to go. This is Ring of Honor. We're going to follow these stories. And if so, great, because I really liked what they set up there. Let's just see follow-up. Let's not change our minds 2 weeks later and decide to scratch everything that you've done. Let's follow things through for a little bit.
I think they did a good job. I think Tony's done a great job with all 3 Ring of Honor shows he's been in charge of.
They've all been great.
I thought Death Before Dishonor was great. I think Final Battle was great. And I thought Supercard of Honor was one of the best shows of the year. So I think Tony has 3 thumbs up for his shows with Ring of Honor so far. But let's move on to match of the night for NXT Deadline. Caden, what did you give it?
I'll give it to, because I haven't watched the men's, I'll probably give it to the men's once I watch that, but I'll give it to the women's Iron Survivor for now.
That's fair. Ness, what about you?
The men's match. Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I gotta go with the men's Iron Survivor. That was a great. Everyone played their roles superbly in that matchup. MVP for the show, Ness.
Again, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I gotta give it to Grayson Waller. The way he won that match, it just no brainer.
Great. I'm going with co-MVPs for Grayson Waller and New Day. New Day winning the tag team champions here, getting the triple crown. I'm always here for New Day, and I wanted them to win something after, their good work with the Usos, where they came up short for the undisputed WWE tag team titles. Caden?
New Day. Yeah, I believe that in terms of a tag team, they are the second tag team to have won the NXT Raw and SmackDown championships.
Behind
and
FTR.
I believe, yeah, and then I believe they said that Kofi is the first person to have won
15 tag team titles,
and
he
the first person,
Booker.
And he also won the World Tag Team Championships, I believe. So he's the first person to have won all of 4 of those belts and do like a quadruple crown, I guess is what we'll call it.
Quadruple crown tag team champion.
Yeah. I'm happy for them. This is I know some people are a little worried that this brings New Day down a level and kind of submits them right now as kind of being like a lower level tag team and kind of being a little washed. I disagree. I think they're just on the main roster. There's nothing for them to do right now. The Usos have the championships. So it's a good, it's going to get butts and seats to send New Day there. It's going to get views. People want to see the New Day, and they're going to have really good matches with some teams down there. The amount of teams there that they're going to benefit heavily from working with the New Day. This is a really good decision.
Idris and Malik, Brooks and Jensen, like we said,
I want to see the Creed brothers.
Creed's Pretty Deadly. All the teams are going to benefit from working with New Day. And I will say, Booker T was making me laugh all night on commentary. Whether it was him crying after Roxanne Perez won the women's Iron Survivor, or his commentary during the New Day and Pretty Deadly when he was just OD trolling. He was dragging the New Day, and then
that's my favorite moment of the night was the twerking.
The best commentary of the night was that match because he trolled them the whole time, and it was weird to the point that you were like, "What's going on? Why is he trolling on New Day so much?" And then the payoff at the end was Vic Joseph saying that Kofi is a 15-time WWE Tag Team Champion, meaning he has the most all time, and he surpassed who? Booker T.
That's the reason.
That was a great payoff. I was like, yo, that was brilliant. That's brilliant.
Good.
They did not mention it the whole match until Kofi won. I was like, that was great. That was great.
Yeah, my favorite moment of the night was the twerk battle. That was awesome. That was so funny. That was great.
LVP for the show, Ness. Who you got?
The fucking ref.
I think we're all going with the ref.
I gotta be the ref.
Yeah, the ref in Isla Dawn versus
I have a different one.
I'll go with her. I'll go with him. Then I'll also go with Kiana James. I'm sorry, she slowed up.
I'm sorry.
Up.
I'll go with Mello for running and chasing Grayson Waller for 30 seconds when he could have gotten the win.
I gotta add 2 more people. Kiana James and JD McDonough for not having any pinfalls in their matches respectively.
That's fair. JD and Kiana did not have a good day at the office. Hanukkah saying Booker T was the MVP. Love that moment. That's one of my favorite commentary moments of 2022. Is not Booker T crying. It's Booker T dragging the New Day for an entire 15-minute match to find out that he was only dragging it because he was really hoping Kofi didn't win.
This week was a really good week for Austonians. You had Ricky Starks giving that amazing promo on Wednesday, and then Kofi Kingston getting the 15 and passing Booker T, another Austonian.
There you go. Some love for everybody, but that's the end of our long-ass review of Ring of Honor Final Battle 2022, as well as NXT Deadline. I got to thank Ness as well as Caden so much for joining me on this journey, recapping these matches. Caden, thank you for being our special guest. Let the people know where they can follow you on social media and what you got going on, sir.
Yeah, y'all can find me at Caden, KADEN_FTW over on Twitter. I do not have Hive because Hive is a joke and people were overreacting, so I never made one. I will be very likely on the True Heel Sports watch-alongs today for football. I'm probably going to end up streaming for about 13 hours straight today. So that's always fun.
Go.
And you can also find me on Fightful Overbooked with SP3 on FMC whenever I'm allowed to join and get kicked off 5 times. And I also do YouTube shorts over for Fightful Overbooked. So if you ever see those shorts uploaded, those are edited by me.
Do a good job with those shorts, sir. And just so you feel at home, like you're on Fightful Overbooked, that's 5 times I kicked you out too. Ness, tell them where they can find you.
Oh man, you guys can catch me on NX3 every Tuesday. Myself, Chris G, Romeo Anthony Colon, where we go live watching NXT. Really excited to see what happens after this show. It was a good show, so I want to see where they go. If they're going to keep the momentum rolling. You can also catch myself and Chris G on Blunt Impact every Thursday. We go live watching Impact Wrestling. I have to show up on Elite Heat at least twice a month, so I don't get taken out of the intro. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you catch me on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel and Twitch.
There you go. You see this man everywhere, even on the Twitch channel. Find me on the Twitter machine at TrueHillSP3. Follow the gang, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at True Hill Heat. Patreon.com/True Hill Heat. True Hill Heat 204 post show is up over there, as well as we had our predictions, our final predictions for 2022. So we're going to see after when Romeo tallies everything up, is it me or Nick Jackson, the True Hill Heat prediction champion for the second season here? And then you also got twitch.tv/True Hill Heat gaming, where we're going to have some gaming with Chris G, as well as Blunt Impact every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. And go over and subscribe. True Hill Heat Sports. We're up right now. NFL watch-alongs are joining us. So join us over there. I want to see all 25 of you still with us. Join us on True Hill Heat Sports. Click the link. Join us over there. Even if you don't watch football, we're pretty entertaining, so you don't need to watch football. Just watch us. So like this video, share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family on all your favorite social media platforms. If you're new to the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. For Caden, for Ness, it is me, your True Hill Phenom, SP3. This has been our ROH Final Battle 2022 NXT Deadline Roundtable Review. We are signing off until next time.